AIDS.
Hi, everybody. Milton has traumatized Florida in a big way, but still our weather is amazingly quiet. Fairly comfortable today. Sunshine, warm and dry, with a high temperature up to about 84. Clear skies. The coolest night yet tonight, with a low in the mid-50s. More sun Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll be in the lower 80s Friday and Saturday, mid-80s on Sunday. But again, jacket weather nights with low 50s first thing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday mornings. And some nights next week in the 40s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you for voting ASE Credit Union the best credit union in the River Region 6 years in a row. As we celebrate our 70th anniversary, we are proud to be at the top of the list for the best credit union in the hearts of the communities we serve.
1819 News.
U.S. Representative Gary Palmer criticized the Biden administration's response to Hurricane Helene. He claimed that politics influenced the lack of attention to affected areas, such as western North Carolina. During an interview on the Jeff Poor Show, Palmer argued that if the hurricane had hit Democratic strongholds like Charlotte or Philadelphia, the response would have been swifter. He also expressed concerns about federal spending priorities, contrasting aid to Lebanon with the resources allocated to hurricane recovery efforts in North Carolina. Palmer called for military engineering support to help repair damaged infrastructure in the region. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Some of the greatest blessings is just having people that care about you, to have someone that's just going to love you and make you feel important. They encourage you to be in church. They encourage you to be in prayer. They encourage you to be in your Bible. Now it's a part of my day every day. My house parents planted seeds in me that you can see where those seeds have sprouted in my life and helped change my life.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
Gulf Shores officials are concerned about public safety due to delays caused by the ongoing Alabama Highway 59 widening project. Fire Rescue Chief Mark Seeley highlighted that barriers along the road prevents drivers from pulling over, especially during busy weekends, which can slow emergency response times. Seeley expressed particular concern about large-scale incidents near the beach that require multiple emergency units. The project, funded by federal, state, and local contributions, is expected to cost around $20 million. I'm Katie Hyde in for Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your market report. So far this year, over 3,300 homes have sold and closed in the River Region with an average price of $260,000. Over 60% of these homes sold in 60 days or less and sold for 98% of list price. So, two forces are at work right now. First, we have more inventory of homes now than we've had in 4 years. Second, we also have the lowest interest rates in 15 months for VA, FHA, and conventional loans, and this helps sellers and buyers. In addition, sellers are more willing to negotiate favorable terms for buyers than I've seen in over 4 years. So the objection from potential sellers, where would we go if we sold our house? Well, now you have more homes to view than we've had in a long, long time. Why wait? For more information or a written report, call Bo Goodson at 221-2883 or the Goodson Group at 551-0225.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
This is the Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Joey Clark.
Welcome
into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Both Eddie Bader and Byron Sheehy here in the house with me. How you gentlemen doing today? Just
Decent.
all right? Decent?
Yeah.
All right?
All right.
Decent? The thing that you got going on subsiding?
Oh yeah, very well.
That's
I
good.
think I'm on the upside of
He was getting a little scaly.
Ooh. Oh, it was
Yeah.
worse than that. But yeah.
Well, he's been scaly, man.
No,
Well, that's true, too.
I got a new tramp stamp, old 9 yards back there.
You ever have you have a lotion regimen?
Coconut
That's a
oil.
personal question.
Wow, he answered.
Yeah, I mean that's what
He's
I was
so
told.
sweet.
That's what I was told to put on. Wow.
You're sweet.
Set me up.
No, you're very sweet.
That's what I put on my shingles.
Oh, what you put on your shingles?
shingles.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a regular thing, like a hand moisturizing.
No, it makes me too greasy.
He's a hand model.
I'd like to be.
Hand jockey, baby.
So there's so much to get to today, but first, let's talk some Alabama news.
Okay.
With the one, the only Erica Thomas, editor at large at 1819news.com. Erica, how you doing today?
Howdy, Joey. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm feeling good today. So let's jump right into, when I'm making fun of Eddie and his lotion regimen, I'm in a good mood.
Yeah.
I don't want to be ashy.
I was so impressed that he uses coconut oil every night, and then you kind of messed it up when you said it was just for shingles.
Yeah, I mean it's for the shingles.
Now, actually, Eddie's more of a cocoa butter type of guy.
I love the smell of cocoa butter.
Oh.
How did I know that? How did I know that?
Y'all are very close,
sure.
obviously.
No, I could just put two and two together, and it all starts to make sense. But let's go with one of. You've got two stories that are trending on the site right now, 1819news.com, folks. The first here is about a newspaper error that it looks like is going to cost Alabama taxpayers nearly $2 million. What happened here?
Yeah, so this is a very complicated case that happened. AlDOT kind of came out and said, hey, look, this isn't good. We had an ad that was placed in a local paper in the Pickens County Herald, is the paper that was published in. And they said, you have to do these when you let bids. So they have to run for 3 consecutive weeks in print. That's how they have to run. So they put this bid out, printed it in the paper. They saw it. But actually the newspaper didn't print it as many times as they were supposed to. They did put it online, but it didn't run in print the required amount of time prior to the bidding process being over. So then when those bids were all over, they were made public, and they had to go back and redo the entire bid process because they found out that the newspaper did not print the ad the way that they were supposed to. Now that's what AlDOT says. I've called the Pickens County Herald. I called them last night, and the publisher was not there. So I will call again today and see, do y'all have a side of this? But I don't think I think it's a much broader issue than what exactly happened and how it happened. The fact that you have to place an ad in a printed newspaper is a little outdated.
Yes.
It does cost taxpayers money to do that. It's not that much. But Chris Elliott, I spoke with him, and he said it's so much that these small newspapers are going to fight to the death against any legislation to change this. And the way he put it was actually pretty interesting. Let me find his quote. He said that the newspapers are a little bit more of a dinosaur and slowly going away. And that's so true. I used to work for a newspaper, a small town newspaper. I hate to see them go, but it is happening. Hopefully they can find enough to stay afloat through local ads, because people do appreciate that actual paper in their hand. Just not as many people appreciate it anymore. And I don't think it's something that lawmakers want to use money for anymore. And so we might see some legislation this next session to change the requirements. And they have done something kind of like this before. As part of Rebuild Alabama, the legislature or the governor put a bid website out for all Alabama counties. So they have to post those on that website instead of in print. So it would be similar to that.
And can't they send a tweet?
I mean, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be part of the bill.
It's just like you have an ALDOT account and you just post the thing. Like we're taking bids, and like everybody learn to pay attention to like the local
Then you're
hub of
forcing people to
information.
be on Twitter, though, right? You're forcing people to be on Twitter.
You don't have to pay the dollars. You can
like
be
the
in there
idea-
for free.
I like the idea of the website.
The website works too.
Yeah, I mean, to have to put it back in print every time, obviously there's an issue. Look what just happened.
No, and that's crazy.
Well, I don't think this is the first time this has happened. I think
What I
we're going to
figured,
find
yeah.
out. We're going to find out that there's a lot more of times that this has happened that we haven't heard about yet.
That's kind of what I
And
thought.
the reason it costs so much money, it's not because, the price of the ad or anything like that. The reason it costs so much money is because these people, when the bids go public, they're like, oh, I bid way too low the first time. They're redoing the bid process, and I see what everybody else is saying, so I'm gonna make my bid way higher than that. And so if this project is around $45 million, if they go out and they bid, 35 the first time, and then they see everybody else did above 40, they're going to do above 40.
You bet.
It does seem antiquated.
Very much so.
And including the folks who I'm sure are actually being competitive for these sorts of contracts. Like I'd imagine this is an antiquated process for them, unless it helps in litigation.
Sure.
Right. What a mess. Well,
yeah, I'm sure the ST Bun Construction Company didn't pick up a Pickens County Herald. That's probably not how they found out about the bid.
Exactly.
Right. Time to change it.
Maybe.
Yeah, that law definitely needs to be changed. Stuff like this happens over the years, and it's and what is sad is there are newspapers who are struggling so much that this is a bit of revenue they count on.
Right.
And it's sad, but it's also like, the world changes, sadly.
Yes.
Turn your newspaper
And you
into a
know what?
website.
Yeah, newspapers really, they have over the past few years definitely gotten with the times and started doing the online, because I have a subscription to my hometown newspaper that I dearly, dearly love. There is nothing better to me than like cutting out photos of my cousins that make the paper.
Yeah.
And they're not in there because they're arrested. They're in there because they do, FHA stuff and 4-H events and stuff like that. But I love cutting those out and keeping those. And I just think that's going to be a thing of the past. It already is in a lot of places. That's really, really sad. But you definitely, as a newspaper, have got to make yourself relevant. And spending money on printing and deliveries is just, that's not going to be sustainable.
Now, shifting gears to another story here, it looks like you talked to a teacher from Summerdale, Alabama, and this is just one person's perspective, but I think a good perspective, on the effect of an influx of non-English speaking folks into the state of Alabama, and particular students who can't speak English, and it's straining resources, right?
Well, that's according to this teacher, and several teachers that I've spoken to off the side have said these things, but they're scared to talk. This teacher was scared to release her name, but she did want to talk. But this is something that we're seeing all over the state in different areas, different hot spots. This is not really a Baldwin County issue as much as it is a statewide issue for some teachers. But she's a teacher at the Summerdale School in Baldwin County. And she said, she loves all students, wants to help every student earn to the best of their ability a great quality education. But she just feels very, very challenged sometimes in her classroom. She has about 5 students that do not speak English at all. And so the issue she's having with that is obviously communication. That's number one. She doesn't know Spanish. And these are Spanish-speaking students in her class. So she's not able to communicate with them, but also she said she's had some behavioral issues with them, which, as we all know, there's behavioral issues with every student every now and then. But she said with this, you know, she can't. She's trying to teach them how to act in a classroom because they've never been in a classroom before, but at the same time trying to communicate. And so she's had really a hard time, you know, reaching these students and actually helping them. Further, the ones that do know English and Spanish, they're having to act as translators in the classroom, which is causing distractions for them. And the other issues are also causing distractions for her English as first language students. So she said every single student is impacted in her classroom. And, you know, she's doing all she can, and she just cares so much. She wanted to get the word out and be able to tell her part of this. And this is a perspective we don't hear a lot, and it's because teachers definitely do not want to go putting their name out there. So I felt like it was very important to get this point of view out in some way. You know, we've heard from the school systems time after time about, you know, they're doing what they can. We've heard, I just did a story last week, talked to the Randolph County superintendent, which they have a small percentage of what they call EL students, which is English language learning students. But even where there's small percentages, there are students in these classrooms that are being impacted.
Well, and obviously the most frequent non-English language is Spanish, but here in your piece you wrote up, there's a list of other languages represented in just Baldwin County schools: Arabic, Armenian, Bengali, Cambodian, Chinese, Finnish, French, German, Gujarati. I don't even know how to say that. I apologize.
Ask Craig how to pronounce that.
Yeah, Gujarati, something like that. Japanese, Korean, Marathi, Nepali, Norwegian, Polish, Portuguese, Romanian, Russian, Spanish. Like the list keeps going on and on. Urdu. Like, well, I mean, who would have thunk it? But the predominant language is Spanish.
Yes. Yeah, I had no idea there would be that many. I don't think we had that in my school, you know, back in the 90s. But maybe we did. I just didn't know. I went to a large school in elementary school. So I don't know, but I just feel like we've had, it's impressive to have that many different languages in one school, but there's no way, if that's the only language you know, one of those, like, there's no way that a teacher's going to know that too.
Well, but it'll make for a heck of a mock-UN class. We could really get that done. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that your reporting as always, Erica. Before I let you go, anything else on top of mind that you're looking into?
Yeah, well, you know, I like to do positive stories too, and so today I'm working on a story about a really cool and free forensic seminar that's going on this week in Foley. It's really neat because they have a different theme every year. They've been doing this for 15 years, and this year the theme is down by the water. So they're going to be looking at aquatic deaths, and it's just really cool if you like forensic shows, you know, Nancy Grace, whatever. And I love those things. So I'm covering that today, and that story will come out probably at 2 o'clock. So y'all check out 1819 News and see what that's all about.
Yeah, folks, it's 1819news.com. And if folks want to reach out to you, how can they do so?
You can just reach out to Jeff. No, I'm kidding. Jeff Ford is our editor in chief. But yeah, you can email us all at news@1819news.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Well, I appreciate it as always, Erica. God bless.
God bless.
272-9228. Again, that's Erica Thomas, folks, editor at large at 1819news.com. And yeah, I'm amazed teachers don't want to speak out on this or anything else. Like, what is it when you become a public school teacher? It's like they take you in some dark room, make you wear a black robe and something, and like swear allegiance to the gods of public education or something.
From teachers, it sounds like it, because we get stories all the time, but no one wants to back them up.
So you're telling me there's a Baphomet in the central office basement?
There's something, man.
No, it's just like, I get people don't want to lose their job. They don't want to get blowback, but it seems like that profession in particular.
Well, I've known a couple of realtors that left teaching for years to become realtors because they couldn't take the BS anymore.
They
There's
left
several.
teaching.
Yes, there's
And
several.
It's not like there isn't any BS in real
Right,
estate.
They come to real estate and are much happier.
Wouldn't you say BS? Are you talking about from the student side or the administration?
Administration side.
Okay.
And the
That's what
lack
I
of
thought.
being able to do anything with, like when I was a kid, and I was an unruly kid, and I was thrown out in the hallway on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently not allowed to do that anymore. You just have to make the class of 30 work around the irate student of 1.
Back in your day, were they still paddling kids?
Oh, yeah.
Back
Did
in
you
my
get
day,
paddled?
they
Yeah, I
were
got
still
twice.
paddling kids.
From the principal and from my parents at home.
No wonder you're so sweet now. They put you in line.
Did you ever
Yeah,
get
slowly
paddling in
but surely.
school? Did you get paddling?
No.
Really?
Yeah. That was long
Please,
gone.
you can't look at him and swear.
I got a
realize-
paddling my senior year of high school.
I think 11th grade was my oldest I was.
That's
Yeah,
99,
like
2000.
See, I graduated high school in 07, and it's the
Snowflake.
tiny. It's the Catholic school here. It's like
I
tiny.
thought Catholic schools were
I thought
supposed to
they-
be tough.
It was after the nuns.
I thought
the nuns were
The
gone.
parents tipped the Catholic people to whip you, so they didn't have to.
No, I only have like one whooping that I remember, and that's all it took from my dad. Like that was, I think a belt was used. Oh, really? You're calling me soft now. Okay.
Well, it took one whooping. Well, no, you're smart.
You ain't
didn't have to
hard.
learn your lessons
You
the
ain't
hard
hard
way.
unless you've been traumatized 10 times.
10 times in a day.
Yeah.
You ever got a whooping on
Lost count.
Christmas?
No.
All right.
What's the worst thing you ever got a whooping with?
Various items. The belt was the worst because it was
Belt
Yeah,
sucks.
because then I would have to see him wear that belt, and I hated it.
I had a busted lawnmower belt. That
Oh,
was-
I've got hit with it. Parents have it.
Well, and I'm remembering one now. Go get a switch, and
that was Granny.
yeah, that didn't feel good.
Nah.
Now picking out your own switch was.
Well, yeah, if you pick out the little one, they're like, no,
Nah.
no. Now you're gonna get
let
more.
me show
go
you
get
how
yeah.
to pick out the switch. Yeah,
It's weird how they can teach you accountability that way.
It is. It is. Though, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you kind of have to be your own jury there.
Because it depends on the kid, right? Like, certain kids, you wouldn't even have to raise your hand to them, and they just kind of mind. Others, like you, Eddie.
Oh, I got whoopings from other people's parents.
Right.
Right.
I mean, it's the way
Right.
it was.
And it was worse when you got home.
Right. It was just the way it was.
Yeah, I just imagine that there's some kids you just give a look to, and they're kind of like, oh, okay. And then there are
They
others
come
that,
out of Highland
like,
Garden.
they're just rebellious
Yeah.
Yeah,
hellions.
I don't
Yeah.
think the
Yeah.
kids that you just have to look at and like scare them straight or, that wasn't us.
Right. Yeah.
We needed something a little heavy handed.
I can give you a mean look back. And then you look at the hand. Oh, I
Okay.
got you.
Wait, you ever were backhanded?
Please.
Oh, yeah, smacked?
Grew up in the 70s, Joey.
Well, you do have a smackable face. It's been a while since I've threatened you with a good slapping.
You've never been arrested, but when a young kid one time as a lesson I was taught was in the back of a police car that brakes.
Mm.
And, between the front seat and the back seat is that expanded metal.
Yeah. Oh,
You got a
nice.
smart mouth in the back of a police car, I can shut you up. And it works. It works.
And the crazy thing, I have never been arrested, but I've been held at gunpoint twice by police officers.
Yeah, well,
That'll wake you up.
yeah, it does. That is. Usually after the fact is when you're thinking about it. And you're like, how
Oh, in the
close?
middle of it. Like, no, the first time it was not just one officer, it was like 3 of them.
How
And
if I
it was-
miss this story?
Okay, I'll tell it again.
It's good.
It's, right off of Ann Street on Highland Avenue.
Yep.
My buddy Andrew, his dad, and the family had owned it for a generation or two, had a HVAC shop right there off Highland. And at the time we were making in high school as Catholic boys, it was like a group of 6, 7, 8 of us. We're making stupid movies, like we called it Smith and Wesson, and it was a saga of 2 cops. And it just became more and more sophisticated and ridiculous to where we're finally trying to we're literally blocking out scenes and set pieces. And,
I love the dedication.
it
though. I love
started as like a POV video. Some guys made like one night as a joke, and then we did one at my house where we did set it up a lot more. And then we're like, okay, we got to do complete the trilogy. And so we used that facility, which they weren't running the business out of anymore. So it was kind of perfect for like a video game. You're going through bosses and getting to the final boss. Anyway, this off of Highland Avenue, can't remember the road you turn off of, but then off of that is a back driveway that's gravel into a gravel lot, back entrance into the place. We had paintball mask on. We had I particular was a guard, So I had the paintball mask and a soft play gun, Uzi.
Oh, yeah.
Had the orange
But they look
tip.
pretty real.
Yeah. And so, like, the scene is like, he comes, like, flying in the vehicle, like one of the bad guys, which he almost hits the damn wall because it's gravel. He really.
Oh, yeah, he slid in.
By the way, it was a teal station wagon. That's a great getaway
Shaggy
car.
wagon, baby.
And anyway, we're shooting this thing, and all of a sudden, somebody goes, "I think a cop just pulled up," and we're like, "Okay,
yeah,
let's put the camera stuff away and just kind of hang out for a second." And we're all just hanging out by the car, and we hear crunch, crunch, crunch coming around that gravel driveway, and around the corner come 3 MPD officers, one with a rifle. 2 others with their pistols trained, and it's hard to explain for those just listening, but they were ready and they all went, "What the heck?" Like, drop down and then get on the ground, because they were not expecting what they saw around that corner.
You had your mask on your head at that point?
No, I didn't have anything on. We were all just kind of chilling at that
dumb
point.
white kids sitting around.
Well, before that, we actually heard the crunch, crunch, crunch. I did notice, and you can see it in the footage we had.
Yeah.
An unmarked van peeks around the corner.
Oh, really?
And pulls back. And I was
Really?
standing guard there. Like, I remember seeing it. So anyway, like, the first 3 that have guns trained on us, my buddy Andrew's like, "This is my dad's place. We're just making a movie. We're only
Break
like,
down in there,
we're only like 17 years old, man." And then they're kind of understanding. And then another dude comes around the corner hauling ass. Go, "No, get on the ground, all of you." And they had a whole perimeter from the back. It was a whole, like, operation.
Yeah.
Because the person next door thought we were in the middle of an armed robbery in the teal station wagon.
They wouldn't have that same confusion today.
So, it's fine. Then one of the officers walks up to me, and this had to be, I think, one of the dumbest things. Like, "I had a shot on you. I didn't take it, though." I'm like, "Thanks. Thanks for..."
You know why I did that.
Okay. Now you're going to have more fun with your wife later tonight? Like, what is this? Like,
You know why I did that.
Goodness gracious. But yeah, and then the other one, I was just taking out the trash in Auburn, and there was some hostage situation a couple apartments down, and I didn't even know about it. So I'm, clean up on a Sunday. I walk out on the stoop. I turn to the right. There's a SWAT officer with a rifle right in my face, and the blue clothes comes, "Come here, son." I'm like, "Okay."
I
I just wanted to go to the dumpster, and he made me sit there for like 10, 15 minutes, and I finally, to the blue coat guy's like, hey, what? Can I go back inside? Yeah, okay. And then they knocked about 30 minutes later. "Yep, somewhere you could go. This is about to get
Took
real."
that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
And apparently it took a few more hours. Like, as I was leaving, they literally had a cop my shoulder to his back.
Yeah.
With the rifle trained at that door they were setting a perimeter around. And like, okay, it's a silver Hyundai Coupe. Great cars back in the day. And it turned out they thought it was some hostage situation called in. They flash banged the apartment, I believe, and there was nobody there. And it was some girlfriend who, the neighbor's stories was some girlfriend, known drug dealer, and he got wind that she said something, and yeah, there's nobody there. So anyway, it's like those 2 occasions, you're like, okay, I'm glad I'm very, like, yes, whatever you want right now in this moment. You got a gun in my face.
Gets serious in a hurry, don't it?
Yeah, that ain't fun. That ain't fun at all. You ever been held at gunpoint?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? But it wasn't just a cop?
Not by cops all the time, but trespassing sometimes. Or
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm a realtor. That's right.
Oh,
I'm a
yeah,
realtor.
that's true. That's true.
I promise
How
I'm a
about you,
realtor.
Byron? You ever had any?
Just once.
Just one.
What was her name?
It was actually on the interstate, or not the interstate, right off 400 in Alpharetta, the
Really?
Roswell area. It was about 5:30 in the afternoon. I mean, guy stopped his car, got out, held the gun out. I got into the middle lane, just kind of skirted on around.
Yeah.
It was scary, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the randos are the ones, you really got to worry about. It's randoms. Yeah.
Anyway, we got other stories we can get to today.
Oh, there's a lot going on.
But did you see that? I didn't know she was still alive. Ethel Kennedy passed away today at like 96, 97 years old.
I did not know she was
Widow
still alive.
of Robert
I
F.
didn't know she was still
Kennedy,
alive.
yeah.
I know that.
Huh. Oh, The Atlantic has endorsed Kamala Harris And they're acting like it's a big deal. And I'm like, wait, y'all have endorsed the Democrat 5 years in
See
a
the
row.
video last night where she's putting her
5
hands over her
cycles in a row.
mouth? I didn't realize we were
Oh
live.
my goodness, yes.
Come on.
Oh yeah, the press tour they've tried to put her and Walls on, knucklehead Walls,
Yeah.
funnel cake dad.
Who said, "Hey, I want to try to change the Constitution"?
Can't you though see like because the fair's in town? Can't you just see like Tim Walls taking the kids out, like the football team, like, hey, you kids ever tried a fried Twinkie? And it's like, no, Coach Walls, you want one?
He seems like the kind of guy who like wipes his hands on his shirt.
Yeah.
Like that. He'd have a lot of powdered sugar on that.
Right. You boys like Polish sausage.
I don't think he'd be my kind of coach.
And then we have a liberal journalist being accosted by climate activists because, a hurricane just rolled through. Millions still without power. I think my uncle's still without power in Orlando, but everything else is fine, thank God. Got a text this morning looking at images of Tampa, how flooded it is.
Did you see Lieutenant Dan?
Yes, I did.
That dude's a hero.
He's wild.
Wait, I didn't see this.
This dude's just riding out the storm.
Really?
With one leg on a sailboat in Tampa.
Wow.
They're trying all day long yesterday.
Okay.
People were coming.
We're
to him.
all soft compared to that guy.
And they talked to him this morning. He's good. But
What?
all night long or all yesterday, they kept going to him. You need to press, even the sheriff, you need to come on. He's like, I got nowhere to go. I'm not going to one of your shelters. I've been in that situation before. I got my boat. I'm the only one in danger. If I don't make it, it's just me.
What was the
And he has one leg too.
And he's all right.
Yeah, he's fine this morning.
Wow.
what's the guy who was ripping off Jim Cantore, Florida Man Cantore?
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Good Lord.
And of course,
in hand.
we're chuckling, but there are also just awful instances.
Did you see any live streaming last night? I watched a lot of live streaming of people driving around doing their YouTube channel during the hurricane.
There was one idiot who was out, doing some TikTok dance, in the middle of everything, and someone was recording him. Like, what is this fool doing?
Yeah, a lot more than I ever thought would happen.
People don't
Well,
have
and
any
then
sense.
they were just showing on the TV the Ray Stadium getting the roof torn off. Dadgum.
It was cloth.
Yeah, so that's not that shocking. Brilliant idea.
Brilliant. It got to be pretty smart because it was going to probably come off anyways. A metal roof.
Instead of it falling and collapsing the stadium, it just comes off.
Ripped off.
And then you can deal with water
like a
damage.
convertible.
Was that Tropicana?
Yeah.
They need to tear that down anyway.
Oh, I've been there once. It's gross.
Mother Nature is doing us a favor.
It is gross. It's like, you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. You lean against the wall, you kind of stick to it.
Let's see who this is on line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Papa B.
Hey, Papa B.
I guess that guy's one of those. Today is a good day to die.
Oh, he was hysterical.
I mean, I've had those days actually. Like, you're wondering why we do all the stuff we do. Feel like a salmon swimming upstream, being compelled by hormones or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh no, there's a bear, and one of the fish says, "Oh, thank God."
Lean into it.
It's over with.
Well, and I do wonder, does this guy go back to his drinking buddies at the bar? He's like, I told you I was the son of Poseidon. Like, I told you guys.
They said, how'd you make it last night? He said, I slept good. I had to get up and pee twice. I smoked a joint. Other than that, it was a good night. Like it was just a Tuesday night.
Well, for a Florida man, it is.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, it wasn't nothing for him.
I've got a friend like that. I mean, just true adrenaline junkie. I fully expect him to die one day doing something crazy like that, But anyway, so now I thought we were supposed to hear this big list this week about P. Diddy and all his friends. Guess it's not going to happen.
They've been paying people off right and left.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Something tells me some fail is going on somewhere along the line. Yeah, that's what I heard too. That all those people that were are going to be implicated, they've been paying off the.
Yep.
When I heard a stat this morning that before 2005 there were some allegations and it was sort of like 50-50 men women alleging things.
Mm-hmm.
Since then it's like 90% men alleging things.
Man, interesting.
And there are plenty of clips of hip hop artists and rappers talking about he doesn't want your girl, he wants you.
Yep.
Nasty.
Yeah.
I tell you, man. But I think that though, I believe that the lawyer for one of the plaintiffs that made the big announcement that sort of broke the story said something to the effect that he doesn't care how many people that these folks pay off. If they were in that room or in those rooms that, happened, that as far as he's concerned, they're just guilty as the day is long, I guess. And that's true. If you knew something, if you saw something that was happening like what has been reported to happen, and you didn't say anything, you didn't do anything, maybe you even participated in it.
Well, my sense of it is the big parties, there are a lot of people there who, there are rooms within rooms within rooms.
Yep.
So you stay a certain hour, you go, like, there are choices people make to get into sort of that inner sanctum. It sounds awful.
Listen, I was reading a report yesterday that one account was at an 8-story building, and every floor that you went up, it got more and more strange, whatever. So the person who was telling the story, I think he said he got like maybe to the second or third floor and realized that was about, pardon the pun,
and then
his ceiling.
And then the final boss, like on the top floor, is Oprah dressed as Ursula from The Little Mermaid.
With
Allegedly. It's a joke. I didn't mean that. Jay-Z and Beyonce, by the way, threatened to sue the pants off Piers Morgan because he had on a woman named Jaguar something who accused them of something.
Oh.
Yeah, but Biebs was a minor during all this, so
Right.
they're not going to be able to sweep that under the
Right.
rug. Did you see the video where it was some late night talk show where he was asking what kind of party Diddy had, and Bieb was like, it's kind of wild. And
Oh, yeah, he
Puffy
shut him
looked at
up.
He's like, yeah, we don't talk about Uncle Puff's parties.
Yep.
Ooh,
That was,
Uncle
it was on,
Puff.
I think it was Jimmy Kimmel, but it was.
It might have been.
But it was several years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
But he looked right at him and shut him down.
You got to wonder, I haven't seen this yet, but if folks are going back over the music and examining what's being said in the music.
Doing that with Bieber's music
50,
now.
50 Cent called him out.
Yeah.
Eminem called him out. I mean, there's multiple artists that had fun with it.
Oh, it's so. I mean, that's so true. There's things that went on that are, beyond, being able to kind of hide anymore.
Right.
I'm sure that there's a lot of people that have, plenty of proof. Poor Beaver, just a Beaver, as I call it. He was sold by his mama. That's how bad.
Wow.
A lot of these kids, they're sold by their parents into doing some of this kind of stuff.
Well, how many
Completely
kids were child stars, whether movie stars or singers, that ended up as normal adults? Like,
Not very
Drew
many.
Barrymore.
yeah, maybe.
I was being tongue in cheek.
All right.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
is it,
You lost your.
Yeah. He's got a new movie coming out. But yeah.
Yeah, he seems to be
That,
all right.
Well,
McCulkin,
now.
whatever.
Now, but he
was
seemed
sold
like he
by
did
his
go
parents.
through something
Yeah.
Right.
besides just regular growing up.
This is his own story. He totally was sold into, the business and into all the nastiness of it by his parents. His parents were paid. And what really, look, beyond the outrage of the human crimes against humanity, the satanic stuff, which they all should be hung for, are the people that knew in our government and didn't say anything and didn't do anything for decades. Hello, James Comey. Hello, a bunch of, folks, good folks in the so-called good folks in the FBI and others.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you do anything? You knew it. You knew it was going on. Had evidence that it was going on and did nothing. They should share the gallows with people that are going down with this whole stuff. And the people that are going down are very well off. They can buy their way a certain part of the way, through lawyers and, threatening to sue people and all that kind of stuff. But, I think this is going to come down. I think this is coming down. And I think it's going to be timed just right. Epstein and P. Diddy and others going to have, their skirts pulled up just at the right time.
Yeah,
for the
well,
election.
it just reminds me that Cat Williams is a freaking prophet, man.
Yeah,
He
man.
called it at
He
the
called
beginning of this year.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Well, I appreciate
guys.
the call, Papa B.
Thanks a lot.
We got to hit a break here. First, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And you know what's coming up there at Dillon Rings?
What's that, Joey?
Ladies' Night.
Ladies' night.
And the feeling's right.
That's right.
Oh, what a night.
Oh, what a night.
I didn't know you were a baritone.
I can be. For them.
Yeah, their annual Ladies' Night event, Diamonds and Pearls.
Joey,
It's a good song.
That's a great song.
It's a good song.
Well done, sir.
It's coming up November the 7th, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. There will be a limited number of gift bags, catered treats, and refreshments, extra discounts, and inventory only during this event. With Christmas only 76 days away, this event will be perfect timing to start filling your wish list and stockings. So again, the Diamonds and Pearls Ladies Night event there at Dillon Rings coming up November the 7th, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. I suggest give a follow to Dillon Rings on Facebook or Instagram.
Definitely.
I'm sure they'll be posting more details. And not only is it a great night to just enjoy yourself, meet other folks, but the gift bags are fantastic. Catered treats are delicious. You know, we went last year.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah, it was all right. And in fact, the photo he posted,
Yeah.
you can see our fat, backs.
Is that right?
Yeah, you can see. There's Joey and Eddie. Yeah. Man, I was a little chunky back then.
We took up a little space right there.
Yeah, both of us. But of course, Dillon Rings is a full-service jewelry shop. Any of your needs, whether great selection, repairs, spa treatments, custom design work, they do it all. Be sure to check them out and stop by 119 Brown Springs Road, right here in Montgomery, just off Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
I'm Wes Allen, Secretary of State. In Alabama, election integrity is a top priority. We must ensure fair, secure, and transparent elections. To vote in Alabama, state law requires voters to present a valid form of photo identification. For a complete list of acceptable identification, or to learn more about acquiring a free photo voter ID, visit alabamavotes.gov.
This message is presented by Alabama Secretary of State Wes Allen.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man. Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdis. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Hi, everybody. Milton has traumatized Florida in a big way, but still our weather is amazingly quiet. Fairly comfortable today. Sunshine, warm and dry, with a high temperature up to about 84. Clear skies. The coolest night yet tonight, with a low in the mid-50s. More sun Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll be in the lower 80s Friday and Saturday, mid-80s on Sunday. But again, jacket weather nights with low 50s first thing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday mornings. And some nights next week in the 40s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
How you conduct yourself in a democracy.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader's the one in the beachy American flag shirt.
That's right.
And Byron Sheehy, well, just looking slick. What type of shirt is that? Blue?
My
I
kind
don't
of guy
like
right
what
there.
style. Is that like a golf zip up or?
Looks like golf.
Yeah, it looks like something somebody would wear playing golf. I'm not insulting you.
Yeah, I didn't take
I feel
it.
like he's putting you down over.
No.
Why are you throwing shade his way?
You're just mad because I called you sweet.
You're going to have to do a lot better than that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not even throwing any shade.
I
It's
didn't
all
know.
going to go towards this guy.
Just saying.
Which, by the way, he could be acting like he's paying attention. He's real engaged, but in the back of his mind, he's always thinking.
Always be closing.
Got one coming up.
Always be closing.
Putting a meeting together
See,
this afternoon.
mine's always be campaigning.
There you go.
There you go.
See?
There you go.
Let's go to Simpler Days. Hey, Simpler Days.
Hey, one and all. If the default candidate goes in, which one of the three do you think is going to get a pardon first? P. Diddy or the mayor of New York or Hunter Biden or all of the above?
I think Hunter.
But I think they're going to talk to Joe a little bit. Joe's kind of getting out of line a little bit.
No, I think Joe is off. He's ready to
I
go.
think they're going to bring Joe back into check.
Joe's off the chain.
Joe's one of my favorite people right now.
Yeah, right. That's why they're going to
So I
bring you
think
back in
definitely
line. I'm
Hunter.
telling you guys.
What are they going to do to him?
They'll probably
not give
toy
Hunter,
that. Yeah.
give Hunter a pardon?
Toy with
It's not on them. Sorry.
Yeah, he's the president.
It's his
And
call.
honestly, if you're going to pardon anybody, pardoning your son is like, oh, how dare you? He broke the law. It's
Right.
like, he's my son.
He's my son.
And I'm the president. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't
Well, she
I'll
can
fail
do
for
it.
No.
She can do it if she goes in and just simply say it's
I don't-
you know the law. It's
I don't
the
think
payment.
they will trust her. I don't think Biden will trust anyone to do it except himself.
Yep.
I think he has learned that he thought he was part of the system, but he was just a tool and no longer needed.
Well, he's no longer useful. Yeah.
Yep.
He might have been the preferred tool for
For
a
a
long
minute,
time.
yeah, but
Well, speaking on another crime story, Joey, and you were talking about the activity that was going on in Auburn. What's been going on with the ex-football player and his wife over in the Bahamas? Have you heard about that?
I
have not in a while.
If you got the story,
man.
tell us.
It was on courtroom TV last night for the whole world to see. But Robert Shriver, ex-football player from Thomasville, and his wife Lindsay, who was a cheerleader, they evidently he hit the big oil well.
Yep.
He didn't make it in the NFL. He didn't get drafted. So he joined them with some talent group firm that judges talent for football teams and whatever. But anyway, he's worth $9 million. And they have about a $2 million home in Thomasville, and also have a private plane and a place down in the Bahamas. Well, courtroom TV, and it'll probably be on tonight. She was going down there without him and the 3 children, and she hooks up with a dude in the bar.
Oh, in the bar.
Yep. In the bar, and starts having an affair with him, a local bartender there. Well, anyway, they've had a theft in the bar, and so the police get involved in Bahamas, and they're trying to find out who stole the money in the bar. Well, they get the bartender's phone, and they see on his phone that there are messages from Lindsay, the cheerleader, to the bartender, her boyfriend, trying to set up a hit on her husband.
Yep.
Back in Thomasville.
Wow.
So now it's all in the court down there in Bahamas, and Lindsay and her boyfriend are in the hot seat.
Yeah, I'm looking at a New York Post story from July of last year, and well, good to see it come to fruition because, man, it's like, especially all these sweet, like, Instagram photos.
There was one story, the argument was,
You
during that
murderous
time,
witch.
She was ticked off because the husband would not let the boyfriend fly on the plane to the Bahamas with them.
What?
Right. Oh, I'd have let him. About halfway there, we lost some luggage about halfway there.
Oh,
yeah.
Luggage.
Dead
Well, I mean,
weight.
You can get the bags. I'll
You
get the
talk
one with the
about
toilet.
You talk about somebody that had it all. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
wow. And she's going to give it all up for this guy that works in the bar, the bartender, to take out her husband so she can be with him.
It's just
Man.
insane.
It is.
Y'all have a good day.
Thanks,
You too,
Simple
Simple
Days.
Days.
Yeah, especially like these like very nice Instagrams. Like you see them on. There's photos of them on an Auburn football Saturday after he's graduated. They got 2
Oh, yeah.
kids, and it's like
Looks like a
perfect
perfect family,
family. Man, those poor children. Can you imagine? Like broken homes, tough thing. You know, like, that's tough enough. Like, can you imagine that mom tried to put a hit out on dad?
Yeah, but there's a $2 million house there. I think they'll be just fine.
I don't know.
There's money for the psychiatrist, Joey. I think they'll be just fine.
Psychiatrist, put it in a novel or something.
Well, they could do that too.
Yeah, or get a radio show. This is part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and that fantastic team are ready to help you with any and all of your pest control needs. You might as well get to know them, make them your everyday pest control company. Of course, they can help you for emergency jobs, things you need done like stat.
Yep.
But if you're just looking for a company that can visit your place on a regular basis, make sure it's jam up and jelly tight, as the song says. That's Pest Pro Services, and it makes me so happy when I see one of their trucks around.
Oh, yeah. See them buzzing all over.
And they look great, too.
Oh, they kept
the
them
wrap
clean,
on
man.
those things just looks fantastic. And not only do they do a great job of securing your home from those little pests, they also are a great local company. Local folks, they're your neighbors, so when you're spending money with them, it's coming back into the community. So check them out today. You can always call them at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or go to ppsriverregion.com or search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, from the moment we pick up the phone, you will hear the difference. We are passionate about what we do. To us, you're not just another applicant. When you call on us, you are trusting that we have your best interest at heart, and we do. We treat our customers like family, and that's why our customers turn into family, coming back to us time and time again. We know you have many options when it comes to mortgage financing. and we appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. We are excited to hear from you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our passion is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
The Tierce family has been your local Roto-Rooter service since 1964. Drain cleaning, plumbing repair, and those troublesome septic tanks, no problem. Technology has changed a bit in the last 54 years. Video inspections of lines to locate problems is available, as well as scheduling your appointment online. River Region residents have trusted Roto-Rooter for over half a century. You can too. Call today at 272-7130 or visit online at rotorooteralabama.com.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And lethal troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. A few minutes left here in the first hour. Got 2 more hours coming up. And apparently Duke wants to chat with us early. Hey, Duke, how you doing?
All right. I just listened to my man. Now, why people hating on the bartender?
Oh, why the bartender?
Oh, the bartender.
Yeah, why they trying to hate on him? I mean,
Well, he broke up a family there.
That's
no, it wasn't his. No, Jody ain't never gave a damn about the next man. Jody ain't caring about this boy 'cause he got money. Just like that's the reason you single right now, Jody, because you got those kind of skills and charisma with women,
no
see,
game.
and they be
Good
want to leave
God,
you
you're
home for
reminding
you
me of
and-
somebody. It's not true. Eddie has seen.
Oh, for real, they be wanting to.
No, they don't.
Want to leave you home.
No, they don't.
Joey,
Where your confidence at, dude?
have you ever had
Where your confidence
a
at, man?
girl invite you over to her house, you know, and you think it's for like studying or something, but really she meant something else and you left? You ever missed an opportunity like that,
A
Joey?
few times.
I think that's what Duke's referring to.
Yeah, I know. Where did my confidence go?
He's got the
It
confidence.
was never there.
Oh, you got the confidence. You just don't see the signs.
Yeah. Well, no, and the older I get, I'm like, man, you seem like
I mean-
a big liability.
These people, they can't hate on this boy. This is a bad boy here, see. And I mean, probably Trump had that kind of
Here we
skill
go.
set if he want to do those kind of things. See, Trump had those kind of skill set for his, the one want to do all that kind of. I'm not talking about killing somebody, nothing like that. But I want to say he was smooth like that with the women.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all can't hate the hater, the Jody.
Well, Jody has done a damage in this country. I will say that.
Shut up! Yeah,
Silly
look up Minnie
woman.
Holmes.
Yes, he has.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you this story about my ad teacher back at the crib. Jody took the boy's wife from me.
Yep.
Mama lived down the street. Mama lived down the street now. So this boy had the nerve to go to the boy mama house driving the boy car. That he took all the stuff. Jody gave
it
her
all.
everything. Yeah. He had the nerve to drive to mama house and say, "Ma'am, anything you ever want me to need for you? Need anything, just let me know. Anything you want me to do for you."
Yep. I've seen some people at a couple different factories leave their job because of Jody.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Jody got, these women that bought Jody cars and everything, and don't be no truck driver, boy. Some of them just mistreat truck drivers so bad, boy.
Hold on, you mean when he's out on the road, things happen?
Yes. Then when old
It's just
truck driver get
cold.
home,
It's just cold. Nobody's loyal.
yeah.
And
man, I
people
used to
wonder
sit
why
around
they have
listening-
problems.
I used to sit around listening to my mom. I'm like you, Ed. I grew up around a lot of women too, and I used to listen to the women talk, man, and they talk about how some of these women cheat on their husband the whole week, and mistreat him and talk bad about him and call him names throughout the week. But Thursday evening, she's washing the clothes and having stuff ready the next morning. Friday evening, she calling the boo. Hey, boo, I got you something. Cook. Want that damn money. Then she said, where my money at?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, I appreciate the lesson on having a side piece.
The reason I really called Jody. I keep on calling you Jody. It's too close to Joey. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I noticed.
But what I'm saying, man, you got those kind of skills, so you got to be careful.
Smooth
So
operator.
you may get, I watch Lifetime movie every once in a while. See, it's some women out there, and men too, that do some crazy stuff now over love.
Oh yeah, remember that
I don't
astronaut?
know what that boy did to that woman, but shoot, dude, want to get him killed, and you a bartender. Play me some. What's my boy name? That song, Bartender. Know what I'm talking about, Joey?
No, I don't.
Tom Cruise.
T-Pain.
Oh.
I'm in love with a stripper?
No, not that song. Anyway, I thank you for your confidence in me that I lack in myself, too.
You know you smooth like that, dude. I don't know why you playing.
Because, it's just not true.
It's a game. It's just a game, dude.
It's old Shiro. He's trying to play old Shiro and all that crap. Boy, come on, Joey. You know you. I almost said something dirty, but let me get off the air.
All right.
See you
Later.
Life coach, dude.
He would be a good life coach.
I bet
Because he would hold you accountable.
I bet you he would be a hell of a wingman.
Oh, yeah.
Then he would know. He would learn pretty quick.
Well, he'd just
Learn with his
start
own
with
two
some
eyes.
tutoring, general tutoring for you, or anybody that needed it.
Anyway, let's hit this break.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. High winds, heavy rain, and flooding in areas including densely populated Tampa, St. Petersburg, Sarasota, and Fort Myers. Hurricane Milton is now out in the Atlantic after hitting Florida. President Biden has been briefed on the initial impacts of that hurricane. Ethel Kennedy, who lost her husband Robert F. Kennedy to assassination, has died. She was 96. Inflation in the United States dropped last month to its lowest point since it first began surging more than 3 years ago. Consumer prices rose just 2.4% in September from a year earlier, down from 2.5% in August. Core prices in September were up 3.3% from a year earlier. The Dow is down 114 points, but the Nasdaq ahead 6. This is SRN News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Hi, everybody. Milton has traumatized Florida in a big way, but still our weather is amazingly quiet. Fairly comfortable today. Sunshine, warm and dry, with a high temperature up to about 84. Clear skies. The coolest night yet tonight, with a low in the mid-50s. More sun Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll be in the lower 80s Friday and Saturday, mid-80s on Sunday. But again, jacket weather nights with low 50s first thing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday mornings. And some nights next week in the 40s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Exciting times at Capital Tractor, your hometown Kubota dealer. John Bobo here. Construction is almost complete on our new Montgomery location, but until then, our moving sale continues with great Kubota deals. Don't miss it. Capital Tractor, Montgomery and Brundage.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. The accused murderer of Lowndes County Sheriff Big John Williams changed his plea to not guilty on Wednesday. William Chase Johnson is accused of shooting and killing the sheriff at a Hayneville gas station in November 2019. Johnson previously pleaded not guilty by reason of mental defect or disease. Montgomery police have launched a death investigation after an Illinois man was struck and killed by a train. 24-year-old John Combs was a lineman helping with storm restoration in Georgia. He was on his way back home to Illinois but went missing last Friday. Combs' body was found near the train tracks between U.S. Foods and the stockyard. A federal judge ended most of the Department of Justice oversight of Alabama's only prison for women on Wednesday. Almost a decade after ruling that Alabama failed to protect women incarcerated at Julia Tutwiler Prison from sexual abuse and harassment, the judge terminated 38 of the 44 federal oversight provisions. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Enjoy an evening of wine on the water at the 14th Annual Riverwalk Wine Festival, Friday, October 11th, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Union Station Train Shed. This event includes a variety of wine tastings, food vendors, and live music by DJ Wright and the Wesley Hill Band. Must be 21 or over to purchase a ticket. Tickets available online at mgmcityevents.com or montgomeryal.gov. Proceeds go to the Family Sunshine Center. Don't miss the fun. Brought to you by the City of Montgomery Department of Cultural Affairs.
I'm Wiley Dempsey. I own Carter's World here in Montgomery. I've been here for over 10 years. We recently moved across town to 6383 Atlanta Highway. Without Blue Water, we wouldn't be able to be as successful as we are. They got the message out to thousands of people.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
You want free speech? Let's see you acknowledge a man whose words make your blood boil, who's standing center stage and advocating at the top of his lungs that which you would spend a lifetime opposing at the top of yours.
I'm a better looking person than Kamala.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Second hour of the program here on a Thursday. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. And off air, we got talking about that Flagrant podcast Trump was on.
Yeah.
And you wanted to reiterate a point, Eddie, and I think it's a good one to reiterate.
Yeah, I still haven't finished watching it, but I think it was 20 minutes in when they asked Trump, and I think they asked him more than one time about the shooting, and he kind of was dodging it, and they called him out on it.
Right.
He said, basically, I don't like talking about it because it's ongoing investigation, but I will give you some breaking news. And I was like, what? He's going to do breaking news here? What could he really give? Well, he gave some gold. He did say out of the two people attempted assassinations, out of both of them, the first guy had 6 cell phones with him.
Or no, that's the second guy, the golf
okay, so the
course
first
guy.
one had the 3 apps.
Yes.
Had the 3 apps on his phone that were obviously not from our country, and the FBI or anyone else has yet to do anything about it.
Right.
Even try to look at it. So shooter number 2 has 6 phones with it when they catch him. Again, they haven't even opened up these phones yet.
Right. And like, who's he calling when he's sitting in
Right.
the bushes?
How, I mean, that I would think would be the first 5 minutes of
Right. Well,
anyone
and
getting
because
that
we
kind
have
of
other
information.
examples of events like this where it's released pretty quickly,
Is
the
that right?
motivation.
I mean, like, was this a dated story? Like, how long ago was it?
This was yesterday Trump on the
let it out.
Flagrant podcast.
Right, but I'm talking about as far as when they didn't or did look into the phones.
They haven't looked at it since
Yeah.
the attempted assassination, either one of them.
That's wild.
Right. So, and again, from his point of view, he can't say anything negative about the Secret Service, period. That, you know, they are watching his back whether he likes it or not. But
Kinda.
what the hell?
Well, here, I've got the clip so we can just play it. This came out yesterday. I'm looking at it just on YouTube. This video now has 1.8 million views. That's just YouTube, but you start
Wow.
counting X and stuff, you're getting into the millions and millions. For instance, Kamala's appearance on Call Her Daddy, which is a huge podcast,
Yeah.
and all due credit to the lady who runs it, did not do as well.
Not so good.
No, and because I watch Flagrant on a regular basis,
Mhm.
I think it's a great hangout. It's a very funny show, sometimes very interesting. They bring on crazy guests, and it's just a lot of comedians, but a lot of people like this true secrets of the pyramids. And you're just like, okay, it's
That's cool, though.
It's silly and fun to talk
Yeah.
about. And what was very fun about this is it felt like just another Flagrant episode, but with Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't change the show because Trump was there. It was still the same cutting up, laughing. But here's the clip Eddie's talking about, and good to underline it. Let's listen in together.
But here we are. Who do you think tried to take you out? So I'm going to give you some big breaking news, right?
Love that.
Here's the breaking. So you have this shooter, and you have another shooter, right? So this shooter had 3 or so cell phones. The FBI's never gotten them opened.
Wow.
The other shooter, 3 apps, they call them, and I believe they were foreign-based apps, from what I understand.
Oh, wow.
They haven't opened them, and they're foreign-based. And you know, you hear all about Iran, because I was rough with Iran, but I want to see Iran do great. I want to see Iran do great.
Yeah.
But I want to stop all the killing and all this, and I was rough on Iran, and they supposedly have a hit on me. In fact, I think it takes great courage for you people to be interviewing me, because it could be now, you know.
Yeah.
They could
Well, we
be
didn't know
right
that
now.
before we got in here.
No, if
before.
you would have known that, you might not have done this.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact,
Secret Service.
In fact, this is a good way of me getting the interview to be short.
See, like, it really was a fantastic interview. And I watched the rest of it last night with my grandfather. He liked it. He was laughing through it. He said they're not treating him like a president, though. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the
what
point.
I like about it, though.
It's kind of the point.
Now, has he ever seen the Fragrant podcast?
Yeah,
before?
I've watched him. I've been showing him all. We've watched Kill Tony together.
Oh,
yeah, like he's learning my world. And it's what's great is it's funny.
Yeah,
like it works.
He can see the humor in it.
Even 88-year-old guy can be like, "Yep, what a crazy world we live in."
I imagine Kill Tony to him. Yeah.
But then, as we're watching it, this clip came up. Craig Monger at 1819news.com saw the same thing. Here, let's listen in.
There's some places. My wife and I had a baby through IVF,
Mhm,
and you've been
good.
very supportive of IVF.
I was totally.
I really love that. You said
Totally
that you guys were going to
right
pay
from
for
the
it,
beginning.
and I would love to get the refund or whatever once that happens from the government.
But I actually said, we want babies in our country.
And we do.
Yeah.
But
So now
there are some people using that reversal of Roe v. Wade to kind of attack the legality of IVF. And to me, it's like, that's heartbreaking.
These are crooked politicians. These are politicians. Now, I'll give you an example. I came out, when it first came up, and it started in Alabama, where a judge ruled that you couldn't do IVF, and all clinics all over Alabama was going to shut down, were going to be shut down. And I wasn't an expert on IVF, but I have common sense. You know, we're the party of common sense.
Yeah.
And some women called me, and actually Katie Britt called me, the senator from Alabama, who's really a young, good politician, smart, great husband, who was a football player, great family. She called me up. She said, "Sir, women have come to me and almost attacked me, and they're my best friends, that the judge shut down IVF." He's a very, conservative judge. And he shut down IVF. And I said, "Let's explain it. Tell me." And she told me. I said, "No, it's a great thing. It's helping women have babies." And she didn't know her friends were all going through IVF.
It's so much more common than people realize. Yeah.
Well, but they don't talk about it. Let's say somebody's
People are
doing,
quite
I understand.
uncomfortable,
I never had big discussions. I know this. If you're a woman and you go through, you're not going to be telling Katie Britt, and you're not going to be telling your friends, "Hey, I'm going through IVF."
Yeah.
Some will and some won't.
Yeah.
But she didn't know anything about her friends, and they were good friends of hers. She said, "They're literally attacking me." I
Yeah.
said, "Well, what is it?" After about 5 minutes, I'm a quick study, I said, "That's a great thing." And I came out within 45 minutes of the decision. I came out strongly in favor on behalf of the Republican Party. And I have calls from senators saying, "Thank you, sir, you saved my political career."
Wow.
Because they might have come out,
Save
who
their
knew?
family too.
But here's what does happen, which is really, we get calls that just the other day, that this total lying politician that's running, that ruined San Francisco, she destroyed San Francisco with her very liberal policies, and she destroyed the
Gavin
state of
Newsom?
No, it's her. But Gavin Newsom, I call him Gavin Newscum. Gavin Newsom.
That's a good one.
No,
That's
he's a
good.
terrible. He's a
That
terrible.
was Pume.
Yeah,
wasn't
no,
it? That was Pume.
Gavin Newsom.
So I was like, oh, interesting insight in how the whole IVF thing, right from the president's mouth.
Right.
And on a podcast like that. What brought it up is Andrew Schultz just had a child through IVF. And we'll see. What I find interesting is, what we were talking about the other day, how many Christians are choosing not to vote, potentially.
Right.
And I know I have let's say, a family member very high up in the Catholic Church here in the Mobile Archdiocese, and it is Catholic doctrine that this should be forbidden. You're playing God. You're destroying human life. I know there are a lot of Christians, who aren't Catholic, who believe that as well. But then you hear the stories from people that have had a child through that process, people that are trying to have a child, because let's be honest, people have waited into their 30s, and especially, I'm realizing it. I'll be 36 in a month or so. It becomes more difficult.
Yeah.
So it's a tough issue. I think the court case has gotten a bad rap in the sense that I actually have friends who are going through the IVF process, and I asked them, so imagine you're the people suing in that situation because some rando destroyed your embryos. Don't you want to hold them liable? And the clinic liable?
But my thought is you don't have paperwork for that? You don't.
Well, and then everybody for years, since the technology came around, have been avoiding the topic of what do you do with unused embryos?
Yes, you're right.
With ones that are still frozen. And it's sort of one of these times where, in a way, I thank the Alabama Supreme Court for saying, no, we're going to put down one marker. This is what we believe. Because it pushes the conversation forward. Everybody was just looking the other way in that regard. Now, of course, to Trump's point, the Alabama legislature, how quickly gave liability protections? I mean, it happened within less than a week.
Yeah, I mean, that firestorm didn't take long to develop.
Because it was right in the middle of the session. Yeah. But of course, and he goes on to say that, of course they're saying I'm against IVF and all these other things. Like Trump hates women or something like that is the meme, essentially.
Okay.
Well, no, and this is, I think, what Kamala Harris is counting on. When you look at every other traditional support group from Democrats, they're losing ground like crazy. The one group that's increasing seems to be women.
Yeah, I mean, that's their base now.
Right.
That's it.
Mostly single.
And single women. Yeah, because what you find actually is parents, men or women,
right?
Parents tend to go for Trump.
Yep.
Future. They're looking at a future for their family.
Regardless of race.
Yeah.
Right.
Two-parent households with kids. They're
looking for the betterment of their family.
So it's interesting. You were telling me off air, Byron, that you think this is going to be big.
I mean,
for Trump.
I do think it's going to be a landslide for him. There's some third party kind of spoilers out there that, you know, are in key states, looking at Michigan, looking at Wisconsin. I believe there's a couple in North Carolina. Let me pull it up.
Well, and say the libertarian Chase Oliver, who we've interviewed on the show, I don't think Chase is pulling from Trump voters. I think Chase is pulling from folks who are either libertarian or I'm not voting.
Right.
Or he's pulling from folks. Chase leans much more on the culture war side of things, so-called, to the left.
I do think that most of your third party supporters are either ideologues or, you know, kind of specific issue voters, or it's just a protest vote against the, you know, two-party system. But man, there's been some pretty weird stuff happening around some of these third party candidates in some of these really contested races, and not even just on the presidential stuff, but there's Senate, there's House. I mean, I told you about the group, what was it? Patriots, bear with me, Patriots Run Project. So this group, kind of shell organization, started recruiting candidates to run as conservative third party people in really kind of contested, you know, states. And now they found that this was just a front for Democrat groups,
Trying to get them to
donors, trying to change the political calculus, you know, trying to change the math here or there. You know, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan. You can go through the list of where these guys started recruiting people. And I mean, going back to Hovde, Baldwin. I mean, that's
Tammy Baldwin, Wisconsin.
That's tied as a tip right now. And you have a third party candidate up there that's siphoning off, you know, just a couple of percentage points one way or the other. So if you're a campaign, how do you swing that? How do you leverage that?
Right.
One of the things I try to think about from a campaign standpoint is reducing the variables. And when you start attacking, you know, the organization or the other candidate as being a plan or something like that, you change the math and you provide a little bit more uncertainty, which is what you don't want to do. So I don't know what they do here at this point. I mean, I think you have to expose the group somewhat, but I don't know, I don't know if I'd personally go after the candidate themselves. A lot of these people have come out flat out plainly and apologized. They didn't know that they were being pawns in a larger game.
Wow. In a second, I want to keep going into this. First, quick reminder, this part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. And there at Cole Plumbing, James and the team are ready to help you with any and all of your plumbing needs. Could be something simple, something everyday, like a clogged drain or low water pressure.
Right.
Could be you flush the toilet and it comes up in your shower or your bathtub. It might be something like tree root invasion.
Could be.
Or it could be a massive leak inside or outside your home. But Cole Plumbing has this proprietary pipelining technology that allows them with minimal discomfort to you and your home to get in there and solve the problem. That means they're not going to have to tear out a bunch of drywall inside, which I think is even worse than digging up a huge hole outside, but that's a pain too. They won't have to do either of those things. With precision and expertise, they'll get in there and solve the problem. They can also help you upgrade to, say, a tankless water heater system or a new water heater. Maybe you need a taller toilet or you want to get real fancy and get a bidet, especially with the whole toilet paper scare recently.
Yes.
Or just any new accessories. They can help you upgrade and install all those plumbing needs. So check them out today. ColePlumbing.com. You can actually make an appointment there at ColePlumbing.com or give them a call at 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole, Joey.
Well said, Eddie. Did you come up with that?
I think I stole it from somebody.
Yeah. Well, for instance, I'm just reading headlines here. We could dig into it if we need to.
Okay.
7 new swing state polls from Emerson. Kamala only leads in 1.
I'm surprised I'll be honest. I'm
Which
surprised
one?
she's in that, man.
Let me click on it.
Oh, clickbait.
Trump's up in Arizona by 2 points. He's up in Pennsylvania by 1 point. Georgia by 1 point. North Carolina by 1 point. Michigan tied. Wisconsin tied. Harris is up 1 in Nevada.
Okay, let's go to
Emerson.
Let's go to the Pennsylvania numbers specifically.
Yeah.
Over the past, I believe it's about 2 weeks, she's, you know, changed, fallen 3 points. 2 weeks, man.
It's a big deal.
That dead cat bounce wore off. I mean,
And I think the VP debate actually counted for something more than people thought.
I think it's I think it's every time she goes out in public and she has to reclassify, her answer or consider it a little bit more. Hell, let's go back to the 60 Minutes interview. I don't know if you saw. Did y'all see where there was actual coverage where they spliced out one of her responses and plugged another one in?
That's nuts. 60 Minutes doing it.
And they have to do
Shows
that,
you
and it's
CBS
still
is in the
where
tank,
it is.
dude.
It's still where it is for her.
That's crazy.
I mean, to me at this point, going back to, some of the House and Senate stuff, to me, it's just, how did they apply the tourniquet and keep the bleeding from killing the party? Democrats, that is, because I do think it's going to be a bloodbath.
And then when you look at Real Clear Politics polling, kind of the poll of polls, it has, number one, Trump, they're projecting, if you just do Real Clear Politics average polling, Trump winning the Electoral College 296 to 242. I got a feeling that number could be higher.
I have a standing bet with someone on the plus minus being 300.
Yeah, and right now, Real Clear Politics, looking at the map, they still have Wisconsin, Virginia, Minnesota in Harris's column.
What about New Mexico?
New Mexico's in Harris's column.
That's a blue.
That's what I thought.
All right, so Wisconsin, I think, is gray or purple right now. I'm eating my shoe on that one 2 weeks ago.
And that's 10 electoral votes.
That wasn't the case. But I'm telling you, man, some of these, the organization by the strategy on this to nip and tuck here and promote and run up the score where they can, it's not an accident. And the districts that they focused on, I don't see it working in their favor, especially now that this is coming to light more and more. So I do think it could be north of 300.
Man. And of course, Trump is now at rallies. I could find the clip of him saying, we're going to make a play for New York. I think they just sold out Madison Square Garden.
Yes, he did. They did.
For a rally, which is
surprised
pretty
me,
crazy.
man.
I'm going to make a play for Minnesota. I'm going to make a play for New Jersey.
I could see Jersey more than Minnesota.
Right. No, especially Trump being from that part of the world, you sort of really get
Jersey,
the
too.
everyman vote out.
Yeah.
And then I want to move before we hit another break to here locally. Just in your opinion, Byron, like the Caroline Dobson, Shamari Figures race, is it a function of anything these two candidates or campaigns do at this point, or is it more just raw turnout?
At this point, most of your campaigns are looking to DC and saying, I'm on your list. Are you going to do
Is that
anything
right?
to help us? Actually, those conversations have already been had. And if they're on the list, you'll see it on TV. And if they're not, sorry. I mean, there's only a finite amount of resources and the dollar only goes so far.
Right.
Right.
And unless you're in a battleground, going back to what we were just talking to, like every player has a role, right?
Right.
Got to raise the water level everywhere. If Caroline, if we're in Georgia, it might be a different case.
Yeah, and no matter who wins this race, whether it's Caroline or Shamari, it could be they're only a one-term, or not because they're unpopular, because the district gets redrawn.
That's
again.
what I'm wondering. What if
I
the
mean, it's going to
district
revert
changes?
that from South Carolina more than likely, that decision. So, or I mean, to me,
Yeah, who knows?
That makes sense. I mean, it was pretty much the same rationale.
And then back to the presidential race, poly market odds were showing Harris like 52% just a little while ago. And you're talking about the trend, Trump now 53 to 46 in the betting odds. Yeah. Which I think if you're just going off betting odds, it's probably not the wisest thing, but they do show you something.
But that was a 6-point swing?
Yeah.
In 24 hours?
No, not 24 hours. Over the last few weeks, I think it was a 5-point swing or so. So the momentum, when you see the trends, not just the specific numbers and specific polls, you start seeing these longer trends. And I think I couldn't sit here and prove this. I heard it this morning, that if you look at some of the, say, like Real Clear Politics, the poll of polls average, a lot of Kamala's polling is old that they're still relying on. They're holding back
release
the new polls.
Yeah.
And Nate or Silver a while back.
Yeah.
That's kind of how his secret to success. He found the polls that were credible, the ones that he determined.
Right.
And recency played a factor in it, and he would just average them together, and that's the aggregate wins.
I
That way
saw
you kind of remove a lot of the bias.
He just did a podcast with Chris Williams and Nate Silver did. And it was funny because the first question was about sports betting. And apparently Nate Silver is like banned or really limited on DraftKings because they're like, you're not a mark. You actually are trying to make money. And you're good at it. So we're not going to let you put that $10,000 bet on that one particular game.
Yep.
But we'll let your buddy do it because he does that every weekend. So that's got to be one of the downsides of him becoming so known for his statistical analysis.
Figuring it out,
Dustin
man.
Hoffman doesn't get to play blackjack anymore.
Is that true?
No.
About to say. He's just an actor.
Well, it's Rain Man reference.
Yeah, I know. I know what Rain Man.
When we were on a plane one time, in Rain Man, they mentioned how many planes go down. He throws it. They took that scene out of the movie.
What?
Yep. And I'm a Rain Man fan. So I've seen the movie a bunch of times. I'm almost quoting the line.
out
at
of
this
the
point.
movie?
They took that part out of the movie because we were on a plane. Did you see that?
Yeah, I guess again, it's like not having a 13th floor.
But just the opposite. The other day, I can't remember the airlines, but they played a R/very
I saw
adult
that.
movie.
Yeah.
Really?
The entire time, and no one had the ability to turn it off.
Somebody
It
got a lot
just
of Sky
played.
Miles.
Well, but there's some sounds.
There was everything.
Audio, visual.
Everything.
Oh my!
No one had the opportunity to turn it off. You were just forced to watch
A lot of moms holding some hands over some eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What movie was it?
I forget, but
Because it wasn't a porno, but
it was very
like Monstrous Ball.
No, it was very erotic kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me ask you, I mean, do you guys see the, kind of the presidential third party, either whether it be Stein, your libertarian buddy, any of those people, do you see them getting traction anywhere?
I'll admit Chase Oliver is a pretty good campaigner, but it's just the message he's selling I don't think is very popular in this cycle. He was the one who played spoiler to a degree in the Georgia Senate race,
Right.
where he got enough percentage where it sent Walker and Warnock into a runoff. And so I could see Chase getting over 2%. And again, I don't think that pulls from Trump people because Chase is very, he leans into more the left-wing cultural stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the guy, but it's like it doesn't speak to sort of. There's a reason Angela McCardle of the Libertarian Party got Trump to come speak at the Libertarian Convention, which, by the way, was a crap show.
Really?
Like Dave Smith's like, let's show them that we can actually be
remember him kinda
cool
begging, wasn't
and
he?
not screaming.
Yeah.
As soon as he walked on the stage, he's like, they're not going to listen to the effing word I said. And it was awful. Like just the heckling. But I think there are a lot of people like myself who come from that libertarian world that are much more on this unity party with Trump, RFK, Elon Musk, all these types.
Just allies. They're allies getting together. They got a common interest.
And I almost wonder, because there are articles out there hinting, could be a mid-October, next couple of weeks, be Trump actually sits down with Joe Rogan.
You think so?
Because that would be, no matter what the election outcome, that's a media event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
And I don't think Rogan's going to put up with like 1 hour only, sir, sort of thing. I think he's going to want to have the conversation he's going to want to have.
Yeah.
Especially if it isn't just Trump by himself, but if you see Elon hop on there with him or something like that, it could be
I could see that happening. Yeah.
It could be a very big event.
Personally, I think I'd do it multi-episode. I think the president deserves the one-on-one time.
Yeah.
And then I think you have, sort of the circle of friends.
Bring other
where-
people
Like the
in.
Save
Yeah.
Our Parks episodes.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Oh my
All
God.
right,
Steve Bannon, get him out of jail.
Yeah.
hold on.
Bring him in.
Getting back to like
Sloppy Steve.
the evangelicals possibly sitting this election out. Have either of you guys heard of the American Solidarity Party?
No.
I have not.
I have not either. So their quote unquote mission is to hold the Republican Party accountable on pro-life issues.
Okay.
And they've asked Peter Sankey or whatever the guy's name is, whether or not he feels, he might be costing the right a chance at the presidency this year. He said he does not care. That
Right.
this issue is so important
his
to
issue,
him
yeah.
that hopefully the Republican Party looks at its, platform and maybe changes it over the next couple of years going into 28.
Yeah, because that poll is pretty shocking. How like tens of millions of Christians saying, "No, I'm just not going to vote."
I saw
Well, if it's like Jehovah's Witness don't vote, there are a few denominations and weird groups that people would even argue are Christian that don't vote.
But I saw a thing the other day, and it granted it was a TikToky deal, but they were talking about a lot of the Mennonites are registering to vote this go.
Really?
Yes, which surprised the crap.
all right, who's getting them to register to vote?
That was my whole question. Where do they go?
Well, see, I mean, that's kind of where I'm
How do
coming
they
at this
prove
from.
who they are? How do they prove
Hey.
where?
Why was the Amish girl banned from the colony?
I do not know.
2 men a night.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Yes?
Howdy, ma'am. I'm Bill, the electrician.
Oh, hello, Bill. Say, I like your houndstooth hat. Bama fan?
Well, sorta.
Oh, you're also wearing a War Eagle sweatshirt and a Troy jacket.
Yeah, well, I grabbed a hot wire last week. Kinda scrambled my brain.
Electricity is nothing to trifle with. That's why you only want electricians who are safety conscious and code compliant, like the experts at Crosby Electric.
Okay, ma'am, you take this 2x4, and if you notice I ain't saying much, give me a good knock on the head.
What?
All Crosby Electric team members are trained to make safety our #1 priority to avoid dangerous situations.
All ready to go, ma'am. Just have to connect this wire and... Oh.
Bill, are you okay?
Oh, yeah. Good as new.
Yeah, sure. Who's your favorite team?
Pistachio?
Don't take chances with electricity. Call the experts at Crosby Electric or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
There's different handling techniques, different types of equipment to handle the oysters gentler as the water's warm during the summer months.
Doug Ankerson runs the Isle Dauphine Oyster Company based here in South Alabama. We talk about what makes his farm-raised oysters as unique and distinct as they are. Listen to What's Working Saturday noon or find us online at what'sworkingcam.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdis. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Elevate your home with the timeless elegance of Cabinet Renovations LLC. For over 40 years, Eddie Basham has been Montgomery's trusted name in kitchen and bathroom cabinet makeovers. From classic designs to modern updates, they craft beautiful cabinets and countertops to fit your style. And with up to 18 months interest-free financing, it's easier than ever to get started. Contact them today at 334-279-7152 or visit CabinetRenovationsLLC.com. Cabinet Renovations LLC, where your home's new look begins.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, the best quality building materials in the river region for decades. From common builds to special orders and local delivery. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Hi, everybody. Milton has traumatized Florida in a big way, but still our weather is amazingly quiet. Fairly comfortable today. Sunshine, warm and dry, with a high temperature up to about 84. Clear skies, the coolest night yet tonight, with a low in the mid-50s. More sun Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll be in the lower 80s Friday and Saturday, mid 80s on Sunday. But again, jacket weather nights with low 50s first thing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday mornings. And some nights next week in the 40s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
They're all different shades of color. They're like sort of white, but one's like an orange white. It's my favorite color, orange.
How you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. It's News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228. If you want to get on the conversation, that's 334-272-9228. And we've got a few calls rolling in here. We have Charles on the line. Hey, Charles.
Hey, brother. How y'all doing today?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good. Hey, did y'all hear about Montgomery Zoo got that new chameleon that's like super rare? It doesn't change color.
No.
Doesn't sound like much of a chameleon to me.
Sounds like a joke.
Uh-huh.
Well, it suffers from reptile dysfunction.
I like that. That's what I get for ending a segment on a joke.
Waka, waka, waka.
Hey, I figured we needed a little laughter after all the seriousness going
There
on.
you go. Good call.
Appreciate it, Charles.
Right.
Thank you, Charles.
Now let's go to Charles the First. Hey, Charles.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing good. How you doing, man?
Oh, pretty good. I heard the first story this morning was about Baldwin County and the non-speaking students. While I've been listening to the show, I've been trying to figure out how to remedy that. Could I tell you?
Please.
Okay. I looked up, and remember, I'm not an attorney, Dillard versus Baldwin Board of Education, anyway, 1988. And the court made some statements back then that still would fit the school system of Baldwin County now, that things haven't got better for when this decision was in favor of Baldwin County. And it doesn't it doesn't allow an undue burden to be put on the education system of Baldwin County in specific. And it is my belief that if you brought this decision to whoever is sending the persons that can't speak to be in the education system there, if you were the person that could bring that suit or write a letter to whoever that may be the Attorney General of the United States, they can't be violating this ruling that's already a precedent and in effect that would not let you put an undue burden. In other words, they would have to stop sending persons that would come to this school system, and they would have to give money to make up the difference for what they have burdened Baldwin County with. Got me?
Mm-hmm. That's what they do.
So it's Dillard versus Baldwin. I want to say Board of Education, Board of something, but it didn't make any difference no matter what it was. It had to do with the whole county being systemically, and I know that's a Democrat thing, but why not come at them with what their own, language,
right?
Their own idea. It says that you can't do that. That never changed. The school system, as some of the teachers have said, is still in a perilous position of needing to improve. And what happened by a federal government decision placed them in this position that Dillard doesn't allow to happen. So instead of just coming on, I wanted to say, give some ways of anybody that might be down there, a reporter or a person from Baldwin County, to look at what I'm saying and see if something couldn't be done.
Absolutely. And reach out to Erica Thomas there at 1819 News. That's her neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I sure will, and I always enjoy all of her. When she comes on and tells you guys stuff, I'm just all ears listening because she really does a good job, Sylacauga and everywhere. But I appreciate y'all letting me on and let me state what I think could be a solution or help with a solution.
No, great call, Charles, as always.
Thank you, Charles.
Thanks a lot.
See you, buddy.
Smart guy there.
Really sharp.
And then we got another guy who's doing a lot of research, and that's, the one we've been talking to, Byron Sheehy. Let's tell folks about, let's ask the question you just asked me. When's the last time a third party played a spoiler in a presidential election? Eddie, before we get into it, when would you say?
Ooh. Spoiler, though?
Yeah, that's how I felt. I was like, I don't know. Ross Perot?
Maybe. He was the closest that I can think of that really had the American people sold for a bit.
How many states did he win?
Oh, no, in the end, he fell apart.
How many states did he come in second in?
I don't know. I just know at the end he fell apart. It ended up being, he literally came out and said, I think it was a Republican Party, Bush was trying to kill him and ruin his family's wedding and this, that, and the other, and he just faded away.
I think he had 18%. He came in second in 2 states, Maine and Utah.
Okay.
But now, that being said, I don't know how quickly he fell apart before the end of the race.
Right.
For a while, that man was on fire.
The answer that I saw was last election.
Really? Yeah, one Ross Perot 4 years ago.
The Green Party, Stein, Jill, she had 3 states that her margin that she got was greater than the difference between the 2 candidates. Yes.
And what states were those?
Shocking. I'd have to go back and
I
look.
would say Oregon be one of them.
Well, because if
California,
that happens in a battleground, that would be.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If it happens in Georgia, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, anywhere like that, then we're screwed.
Now, any of those states, are they sold on the Green Party?
I think that
Pennsylvania would be one I would kind of be worried about it because they.
To me, it's more, who pulls from who.
Yeah.
And the way I was looking at it, Nevada probably goes for Trump. Georgia goes for Trump. Arizona goes for Trump. Michigan's up in the air. North Carolina's Trump. Pennsylvania's up in the air. Wisconsin's up in the air. And going through some of those,
Wisconsin.
I didn't think I would say that.
Yeah, that's just.
I'm glad we're here, but, and it's not even just that race, but you got your presidential third party candidates, and then you got your federal, whether it's Senate or Congress, that they're also playing in. So wherever they can nip and tuck and maximize, we'll see, man.
We'll see. Arizona, because I've got friends out there, I feel comfortable with Trump there. Nevada, with the promises that he makes, as far as no tax on tips, I really thought they would go that way, but I think Nevada, it's going to be a toss-up. I really do. I hope Trump gets it. I don't see how they wouldn't, but I know strong unions and guilt.
So
how that works.
So shifting gears a little bit, Peter St. Onge, we have a double dose today. In fact, it's a report. It's a breakdown that Peter St. Onge and his colleague E.J. Antoni put together. They're at the Brownstone Institute. We interviewed Jeffrey Tucker about the Matt Walsh movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's his place, set up during COVID. And this is on recession since 2022. U.S. economic income and output have fallen overall for 4 years. But in particular, the part I want to begin with, because I've got a video, Peter, breaking that down. Zero income growth through the Biden administration.
Yeah.
But you saw headlines today of 2.4% core CPI increase. And folks are like, oh, look at these are great numbers. These are good numbers. Well, I just want to read this real quick. Again, this is from Peter St. Onge and E.J. Antoni. Many have questioned the accuracy of official inflation statistics, with dozens of academic papers written on the topic and doubts voiced by sources ranging from the New York Times to former President Donald Trump. This matters not only because of the political salience of rising prices, but also because official inflation numbers are used to calculate real economic growth by adjusting nominal dollars to inflation-adjusted dollars. Everybody following along so far? So they have a longer study. I'm not going to sit here and read the entire study, but they kind of lay out the problem. The difficulty in measuring the size of a nation's economy is twofold. First, there is insufficient data to directly measure the number and size of all transactions in an economy or to monitor all economic activity. By the way, this is sort of why I get so skeptical about long-range climate study impacts, not of where will the climate go and warm, more of if we do these particular policies, it'll have
save-
this particular economic impact, and we can project that 50, 100 years in the future. I
Nope.
think it's difficult enough to actually measure a year.
Thank you.
Let alone project for next year. But the second problem is the measuring tool used changes value over time. In this case, dollars, Federal Reserve notes. So it's like your ruler keeps changing as you're trying to measure and build up the house. Thus, fluctuations in the nominal value of economic activity can be due to real changes in economic activity, measurement error of economic activity, or changes in the value of currency. So, yeah, you really could have economic growth and change. You could have an error in actually measuring it.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, we're printing a lot of money and thus diluting and changing the value of the currency. And, of course, this is based off an exchange rate with other currencies all around the world. But the government metrics for inflation suffer from various problems which tend to underestimate the rise in prices over time.
Right.
These shortcomings have been more pronounced over the last 4 years during a relatively rapid depreciation of the currency. This study does not attempt to address difficulties concerning measuring the nominal value of economic activity, but instead offers an alternative adjustment for converting nominal growth to real growth by more accurately reflecting changes in the cost of living over time. For instance, there's a bias related to housing. One of the most cited inflation gauges is the Consumer Price Index. It measures the change in price for a fixed basket of goods and services over time. While the index contains a proxy for the cost of home ownership, it does not actually account for this directly. Let me say that again. It has a proxy as a variable in it.
Yeah.
They aren't actually going to look, which Eddie could attest to. You can go look at what it costs in
You
a
can go
given
look.
market.
Exactly right.
So instead, the CPI imputes this value from rents without observing home prices or interest rates.
That's wrong data to draw from.
Called owners' equivalent rent of residences, this category has a relative importance of over 26%, meaning it makes up more than a quarter of the CPI. Yeah, so a quarter of your calculation is going to this thing that isn't actually reflecting as best as you could the reality of what, say, homes cost. If the cost to rent and own change commiserately over time, then this methodology will be relatively accurate. Unfortunately, the cost of owning a home has risen much faster than rents over the last 4 years, and the CPI has grossly underestimated housing cost inflation. The cost of housing services in the National Economic Accounts published by the Bureau of Economic Analysis suffers from similar methodological problems. It's also a bias related to regulations, indirect purchases. And so the point is, in particular, I love that first one, is you're looking at CPI, and you can criticize it in all sorts of different ways, like they said. But where a lot of the inflation, all this money that was created out of thin air, where's it going? It's going into asset prices like homes and stocks and securities. And so you're like, well, the average person, look, the CPI is coming down. Number one, it's coming down, but it's still growing. And what? Particular goods are still up 20, 30%.
At least.
It's number one. But number two, if you're trying to get into, owning a home, which in Alabama, I heard this morning, we have something like a 74, 75% home ownership rate in the state, which is pretty daggone good. I think it's lower because of lower cost of living. And I do wonder how many people like yourself are counted when you have multiple rentals.
I don't know if that number.
Anyway, lies, damn lies, and statistics. But what I find fascinating is that you can really get into these numbers, and what you find is manipulating the stats actually allows you to do certain things politically. And I'm not just talking about, the Biden and team can, and Harris and team can tell a better story. That's part of it. It's also the Federal Reserve is trying to make decisions. All sorts of other regulators are trying to make decisions based on data that's not
False
really
data.
reflecting the everyday person. Central planning doesn't work. And the pretense that we can control an economy from the macro level, let alone control the climate of the planet or control a hurricane. Good God.
That's fun now, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's just so.
Gotta get out the blue laser.
Eddie, I lied to you. It wasn't 4 years ago. It was 8 years ago. And I got those states: Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin.
Wow.
The Wisconsin.
And it's the Green Party, so that's pulling from more Democrat.
I mean, this is Jill Stein cost Hillary dearly in 2016. Democrats are still writing off her successor.
And that's the blue wall being chipped away at even more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then you add in the union support shifting. Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
And going back to the COVID spending, wasn't it like 13% or 12.5 that was given to banks?
There's a chunk. Yep. Yeah, not to evict people. Man, that
yep.
There's a whole scam there, man.
Oh, I mean, it's totally a scam. But I guess my point is, they got bailed out in 8, and then they got bailed out
about every
again.
10 years.
Yeah,
about every 10 years.
You know, if we had a way to gauge our return on investment on bailouts,
yeah,
I'd love to see it. Because it seems like all they have to do to technically, you know,
got to get so big and then say, hey,
or you know, they say just pay them back, right? I mean, that was what the airline and the auto industry bailouts level of success was. Can they pay them back?
Yeah.
If y'all want to read into this report I was just citing, it's called Recession Since 2022. U.S. Economic Income and Output Have Fallen Overall for 4 years. It's at the Brownstone Institute by Peter St. Onge and E.J. Antoni. And, of course, you can just go to Peter St. Onge's Twitter account, X account, and he's got it posted there. And the next upcoming hour, we'll put Peter on and have him do more of that bottom line, how he puts it in layman's terms. We'll do that when we come back.
Okay.
First, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. If you want to own your own home, they can help you, steer you in the right direction. It could be just moved in the area, and this is what you're going to do.
Right.
And they really can help you from pre-approval all the way to closing day, every step of the way, especially if this is your first time. And if it ain't your first time, then you're just looking for somebody you can trust who has quick turnaround time. That's Alabama Home Mortgage.
That's right, Joe.
No surprises on closing day like
You
with
don't
some of
want
those fly-by-night internet companies.
Yep.
And then, of course, they can help you with a refinance deal. With rates coming down some, it could be the right time for you, especially y'all been thinking about it, sitting on the fence. Why not call up Kim and Madeline and at least have a conversation if this is the right time for you to make a move? And if you're a veteran, you really need to call them. If you're currently in a VA home loan, if you are in a home using that program, there could be a very special program you could use to help reduce interest rates. They're the pros, though. They can explain it a lot better than me. But if you are in a VA home loan right now, call up Alabama Home Mortgage right now. 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline. Prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. But you can get all these numbers, all these breakdowns, all these brilliant people. Common sense. You heard Trump say that in that clip we played earlier. We're the party of common sense. I'm a quick study. It took me 5 minutes to understand IVF. Party of common sense and hubris. I love it. I love the confidence. But the common sense experience, I think, counts for more than that number the corporate press is pushing out at you.
100%.
You know how much your groceries cost. You know how much it is to upkeep your home.
Oh, no.
You know how much it is to fill up the gas pump.
When's the last time the government's been honest with you about anything, especially when they know that they're kind of screwing you?
Well, I mean, to me, the messenger, like when you have beautiful people sitting on a set that obviously have Louis Vuitton bags and, you know, suits that cost more than my place, telling working folks who are struggling how great the economy is, it doesn't exactly land.
It doesn't, but also it doesn't. It takes your average person just to go to a dollar store and everything's $1.25. They instantly know, hey, everything just went up 25% because it's no longer the dollar store. Everything's $1.25. And then they're going to pretend that, oh no, inflation's not up that much. It just literally on the things that I need to get by. I shop at this dollar store. It's gone up 25%.
And so think about too how much rents go up and just eat into your purchasing power
and power, especially here in Alabama. I don't know what we're at. I know we're the top 5.
Oh, like the fixed rate stuff around the nation.
Yeah, most expensive power.
Big deal. Here, we got to hit this top of the hour break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Celebrities lining up donating to relief efforts for Hurricanes Milton and Helene. Hollywood power couple Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have given $1 million, and they're the latest celebrities to make a 7-figure donation. That's after singer Taylor Swift gave $5 million earlier. Social Security recipients will see a 2.5% bump as part of their cost of living adjustment for 2025. The increase that was announced today marks the smallest in years. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky city hopping across Europe to promote a victory plan. He says this blueprint aims to create the right conditions for a just end to the war against Russia. The Dow is down 154 points. This is SRN News.
Our government has engorged itself on borrowed money. Now we are over $30 trillion in debt. If this bubble finally implodes, many Americans would be left penniless and heartbroken. For example, what happens if state and federal pension funds go broke, or if 401ks and IRAs get cut in half due to hyperinflation? Hi, I'm Lance Wallnow, news analyst, best-selling author, and evangelical leader to millions of people just like you. People who understand something big is coming. Now's the time to prepare with a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. Precious metals are among the most proven hedges you can make. And they're even better inside a tax advantage account. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word FAITH, F-A-I-T-H, to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached, so just text FAITH to the number 989898 right now, and I pray you are blessed with continued prosperity.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather. Hi, everybody. Milton has traumatized Florida in a big way, but still our weather is amazingly quiet. Fairly comfortable today. Sunshine, warm and dry, with a high temperature up to about 84. Clear skies, the coolest night yet tonight with a low in the mid-50s. More sun Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll be in the lower 80s Friday and Saturday, mid-80s on Sunday. But again, jacket weather nights with low 50s first thing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday mornings. And some nights next week in the 40s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you for voting ASC Credit Union the best credit union in the River Region 6 years in a row. As we celebrate our 70th anniversary, we are proud to be at the top of the list for the best credit union in the hearts of the communities we serve.
1819 News.
Decatur Mayor Tab Bowling expressed discomfort on Facebook after protesters from the Justice for Steve Perkins movement, including civil rights activist Garrett Rawls, attended his church. Bowling noted that Rawls and others had been vocal at council meetings following the police shooting of Steve Perkins in September 2023. Bowling attempted to shake Rawls' hand at church, but Rawls declined, which left Bowling feeling uneasy. At a subsequent council meeting, a protester addressed the mayor's Facebook post defending their church visit as a peaceful, silent protest and criticizing the mayor's response. Rawls later responded online, dismissing the mayor's concerns. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
A new database from Do No Harm, a nonprofit focused on keeping identity politics out of healthcare, revealed that 35 minors in Alabama received gender-affirming care between 2019 and 2023. That included puberty blockers, hormones, and surgeries. In addition, the database showed Alabama healthcare providers wrote 206 prescriptions for such treatments. I'm Katie Hyde, in for Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
Enjoy an evening of wine on the water at the 14th Annual Riverwalk Wine Festival, Friday, October 11th, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Union Station Train Shed. This event includes a variety of wine tastings, food vendors, and live music by DJ Wright and the Wesley Hill Band. Must be 21 or over to purchase a ticket. Tickets available online at mgmcityevents.com or montgomeryal.gov. Proceeds go to the Family Sunshine Center. Don't miss the fun. Brought to you by the City of Montgomery Department of Cultural Affairs.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Is cocaine a stronger up? Yeah. So you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
Cocaine will turn you into a damn owl, homie. You know what I'm saying?
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to the program. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. And, well, there's so much to get to, but first, this guy's been so patient. We hadn't heard from him in a while,
It's been a while.
Soldier Boy, how you
Soldier
doing, man?
Boy.
Hey, I've been kicking it back, relaxing, enjoying life.
That's
All
good to
right.
hear, brother.
Zach, I got too much stress going on. Kamala, I don't know whose laugh scares me more, hers or Hillary's. Oh, God.
Both pretty bad.
Both of them. They're both pretty bad. Two talking points real quick. One is, when I was in the military, I learned one thing about black market when I was over in Iraq, in the Baghdad, in the Green Zone and everything. And I've been through other countries, too, throughout Europe and Africa, too, and also in Asia and China. You know, everybody talks about us printing too much money, how Russia or China is going to come to be the global money market, you know, to replace the dollar bill and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's such full of bull crap, because I learned one thing. As long as you have American dollars in your hand, no matter where you are on this planet, you're good to go. You may not get the transaction and the market rate that you want, but let me tell you something. You're not going to go broke.
I have to agree with him.
That American dollar still.
You bring you a
stands for
$100
something.
bill anywhere in the world, you get somebody's attention. An American $100
For the
bill.
time being.
But now,
it's
I
changing.
will be the first to say, yes, there is some slippage going on.
Yes.
But
Yeah, but we're printing too many bills, you know.
Well,
we're
and
printing
it's
too much
not like
money.
you as a individual. It's like entire, say, nation-state oil contracts or weapons deals being denominated in something else is a very big deal.
what was crazy to me, though, and this happens a lot of places we go, when you do see some third world people with American money, it's all hundreds. It's always hundreds.
Interesting.
Yep, and they
Well,
keep
you know
them
why
like
they
a
went down to-
treasure. I mean, it's unique.
Oh, we used to have a $10,000 bill, a $100,000 bill, but that's before we had computers, and corporations were able to move money by couriers, you know, to other locations.
Yep.
Because they had those big dollar bills. And then they went to the $100 bill because they were having too many problems with the drug market, making it so easy to transport, you know, 100,000, 200,000, a couple of $1 million in your wallet almost with a $100,000 bill. And they used to have those. Second talking point I want to go over real quick is I just heard over there. What's his name? Zelensky? Is that little short midget's name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Talking to people about his victory thing, dude. Let's face the fact. They're never. I mean, I'm not any means a war, analyst or anything. But at the end of the day, they're never going to beat Russia. And I like what Trump has basically said. Just get everybody in a room and let's, enough people have died on both sides, okay? And there's no way you're going to beat them. I don't care how many weapons we give to them. It's just stupid. It's all a money-making scam.
Well, and you better believe there's folks still behind the scenes trying to get authorization to do more long-range strikes deep into Russia.
buddy.
And it's like, yeah, let's just climb the escalation ladder. They're just bluffing about their nukes.
What's amazing in the 60s? Who was it? The hippies and everybody? And the Democrats were anti-war. Peace, make love, and
Make love,
and
not
have
war.
peace.
Yep.
That's exactly right. And now it's just the opposite. Republicans want peace, and these damn Democrats want war.
Party of common sense.
Exactly. And I just can't believe he even thinks. And even Trump basically hints at it. He says, once I become president, he says, we're going to talk to Putin. And little elf over there, little angry elf over there, he's going to sit his ass on the table, and you're going to have a talking. And it's like, you know what? Enough people have died. This is just. Does everybody think in their mind that they can beat Russia? What are they trying to do?
I think the victory in their mind is keep it going as long as they can.
Putting off the inevitable. Yep.
Exactly. I mean, it's one thing all three of us can agree, and we can't agree on everything together. But there's no way they want to keep it going on, and because people are making money off of it.
Sure.
Nailed
It's costing us
But in
money.
the meantime, and like Trump said, in the meantime, hundreds of thousands of people have died, innocent people.
Yep. It's a
So
shame.
Why, it's just ridiculous. And I think Russia's making money off of this, too. I guarantee that. There's got to be some money being made here.
Well, and then you got to ask yourself, what does Israel do next? Because people forget how tied up in the Middle East Russia is.
Yep.
There's a lot of Russian missile defense systems all throughout Syria and Iran. And
You saw that article where they're trying to say that we were responsible for blowing up that pipeline recently.
Oh, really?
They said our guys were out there and turned off the responders or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of obvious. Like, come on.
So when is the point are they going to wake up that this war is never going to end? They don't want it to end. Zelensky doesn't want it to end. He don't care if his people die. What is he, a freaking comedian? Oh, that's right, he is, isn't he?
Indeed he is.
He is a bad actor.
Bad actor.
A very bad actor, indeed. And I just can't see it going on and on. Let me ask you a question real quick, guys. How did Lebanon get 140 billion? Is it not million? Billion?
How did Lebanon get 140 billion to U.S. taxpayer dollars?
Was it billion, not million, right?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't think the government measures in millions anymore.
No, I don't think so.
I'm going to say billion.
Yeah.
That's why I use the word billions, because I don't think they use the terms millions anymore, because that's like petty. We're spending.
No. The U.S. will provide nearly 157 million in new U.S. humanitarian assistance to support populations affected by conflict in Lebanon and the region.
How much? How much is North Dakota? North Carolina? How much?
You get a loan for $750. What you get?
But you better have your flip-flops,
Hey,
my guy.
Joey, do you think the Democrats going to use that crap? And was North Carolina strong Trump all the time?
North Carolina's been pretty red for a while.
I thought so. Except for maybe around Charlotte.
I'm kind of scared that they're going to try to screw some stuff over, because these people up in the mountains are pretty much strong red party, okay? And they're not looking too hurried to figure out a way to make their votes count.
Yeah, but Asheville is the big city around there, right?
Yeah, that's the closest big thing. Yeah.
And it's a liberal hotbed.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I would.
And then
I've got curiosities about
that whole governor's race has been thrown on its head with those allegations against Mark Robinson.
Right. Thank God President drives it, not Gov, man.
So is there a chance that this can actually affect, with North Carolina turning blue?
I mean, yeah, there's a chance.
Good.
Certainly.
Because of this damn hurricane.
I mean, it would be the hurricane. It would be the scandal with Robinson. It would be election improprieties. That would be, pardon the joke here, the perfect storm on something.
It really
happened.
would
And
be.
just looking at the hurricane, there are too many variables just within that to really know. It depends. Again, we're sitting here in Alabama. I don't know all the ins and outs of local governance there in North Carolina.
I can understand all that, but you just mentioned those reasons, but also don't. But the biggest reason is that the administration up there at the White House ain't doing crap for y'all.
Which Trump is it that lives in North Carolina? Because she was out recently making sure that people had absentee ballots.
Yes,
Is it
because I saw that
Lara,
clip.
or-
I think that's right.
I think it's right because I did see that clip. I think I saw it on the TikTok and
And I
YouTube
heard
as
some
well.
people up there in North Carolina and Asheville got turned down for the $750 help out.
I'm sure a lot of them did.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
It's like $750. I got to give props to Taylor Swift giving out was it $5 million?
Yeah, she gave out $5 million.
Yeah, she'll write that off her taxes. That little libtard. Way to go, girl.
Well, I appreciate the call as always, Soldier Boy. Great to hear from you.
Hey, why
See ya, boy.
why is Trump getting such flack on talking with Putin?
Because people are still programmed from the whole Russiagate thing.
Yeah, but okay. Kennedy, Khrushchev, they corresponded all the time.
Right.
And
good that
and
they
it was-
did.
That's my point. You know, you got the two leaders actually communicating and talking.
This is the point Trump keeps making, but no, he's a stooge for Putin.
Yeah.
And no matter what, there's gonna be a large subset of people who just believe that.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredibly ironic to say the least, but so be it.
Right.
So be it.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, well, guys, if you're experiencing certain symptoms, you need to get it checked out, because especially all these combined could mean low testosterone. And it's not just guys in their 40s, 50s, and 60s who start to feel these issues. There are a lot of guys in their 20s and 30s who are starting to notice, lack of motivation, energy, and drive, including a decrease in sex drive, seeing unwanted weight gain, loss of muscle mass, and you didn't change your eating or your exercise habits.
Right.
Even seeing, that feeling, like that fog right in front
Brain
of you.
fog.
Like it's not just a physical thing. Like you're just not feeling right.
Right.
You've lost your edge. Well, it could very well be low T causing those issues. And the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health can conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And they have low T treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, usually even notice an increased libido.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, Joey.
That's just a fancy Latin term for wanting to have sex more. You can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. So, let's see if this is on line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hi, this is Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing, bud?
Oh, I'm doing well. When you keep talking about Ukraine not being able to beat Russia, it would be helpful if people would remember our own history. In 1775, when we started the revolution, we were taking on the biggest, baddest character in the entire world, or at least the Western world. And it took us 7 years, and we had to have a sponsor, the French, but we pulled it off, and here we are. Who's to say that they can't?
Well, land war right on your doorstep is a little different than projecting power through, say, the British Navy. I see your point, but I also don't see how do the Ukrainians take back the territories that have been secured.
So we're just going to say every time old Vladimir grabs off a hunk of land, it's okay.
No, that's not what we should say at all. We should, in fact, be strong enough to where he doesn't even think about it. And if I'm especially the Baltic countries, I would be demanding every asset, every need that they can imagine. So it's not about, the posturing or the morality. I think you just need to be strong enough to deter them from doing it. And I think the Biden administration in particular, and Harris herself, really screwed up when they said, yeah, let's bring Ukraine into NATO when they had no short-term plan to actually do that.
So, but that's all kind of speculative. The facts on the ground today are Putin has invaded. He's seized a lot of territory.
Mm-hmm.
He's been beating the crap out of them long before they started fighting back in terms of hitting Russian territory. I think Putin's got problems of his own. If we truly believe in sovereignty and supporting nations who have been invaded, where are we?
Well, I see your point, and I see why everybody's freaked out that the international liberal order, is threatened by this. But again, practically, how do you win? And it doesn't seem... I don't get this other than Putin has cancer. There's something, he gets overthrown. There's regime change in Russia. I mean, we've heard these things over the last 2 years, but it doesn't seem like the Russians are giving up the territory they've taken, especially Crimea. And how do you practically take that back?
Is regime change a win?
This is where
right
astute diplomacy comes into play.
Oh, I agree. And I think it's not just if there's a deal to end this war is made, it shouldn't just be, oh, yeah, Russia, you get to keep everything without any concessions on your part, or we will keep this going. But I think there are some interesting things that maybe could be done. But again, this is above my pay grade. I mean, I'm just a clown on the radio. I find this stuff fascinating. But it just, from day one, I was like, I don't understand what a win situation looks like. And that's one thing when we do that in Iraq and Afghanistan or Syria or Libya. It's another thing to do that with probably the largest nuclear power on Earth right on their doorstep.
I think the election is going to determine a great deal about where things are going to go after that.
Oh, sure.
100%.
And that and many other geopolitical issues. You're absolutely right.
So, all right. Have a good day.
Thank you, Jeff. 272-9228.
Have we determined how we measure success in that? Serious question.
Well, for instance, I just watched a debate between Vivek Ramaswamy and John Bolton, and Bolton said taking back the territorial integrity of Ukraine, including Crimea.
Okay.
And Ramaswamy's retort to that is like,
good luck.
Yeah, good luck. What you call me delusional because I think you can get the Russians to have concessions to weaken the Russia-China alliance. Oh, that's a daydream, Ramaswamy. You don't know what you're talking about. But we can easily take back these territories.
See, to me, that's the ultimate goal, is not strengthen the Russia-China bond.
Right. But there's a lot of, you can look up a lot of smart people, talk about, I saw this on the Goodfellows Hoover Institution podcast, where the idea is you tie President Xi of China and Putin together. And so everything Putin does, you are holding Xi accountable for it. I just don't see that right now.
That seems, they're smarter than I am, but I know I don't want to put two people who, have a problem with me together and make them a stronger enemy.
Right. Well, and I think it does come back to hardcore deterrence, which is partly diplomacy, what you say and what you project and your goals, but it is just the practical fact of what sort of ways are you hardening up any potential victim in this case, especially you look at Taiwan. I am wondering too, like folks are like, hey, Israel, go bomb those nuclear sites, and I wonder what happens as we climb the escalation ladder. And
never good.
There are some people that give answers, but I think, to Jeff's point, a lot of this is the art of geopolitics. It is speculative. You don't know. It is a bit of a shot in the dark. But once the deterrence is kind of fallen apart where the fighting stops, escalation tends to be what occurs. And one side uses one tactic, the other side responds in kind. You can go back to the Peloponnesian War, and this is what happened.
Right, so we wouldn't be fighting this war symmetrically. This would be an asymmetrical war, right? One side would have an advantage over the other. It just wouldn't be, head on head.
Which war?
Any war at this point, really.
Yes, I mean, ideally you'd want to have the very strong hand. Yes.
Right, and all right, let's go back to COVID. That was Chinese bat flu from a Chinese lab.
Yeah.
Who's to say that there's not something worse over in Stalingrad?
Yeah.
True.
Well, yeah, and then you get into the whole cyber area, which cyber attacks almost freak me out more than nukes because it ties together. Like in the sense of if you have a massive cyber attack, that isn't just, my phone doesn't work. If it's something like the electrical grid of a country or certain crucial systems,
electromagnetic pulse, man,
and you can't really trace it. So it's like when somebody fires a nuke, you know who fired it for the most part. When somebody does these cyber attacks, it could lead to all sorts of mayhem. And then you add, the biological warfare component. I think Trump himself was saying, I still think it was an accident. I don't think that, people argue that. Because China did get hit hard themselves. But it's...
they have such a great human rights record and caring for their people.
Right. Yeah, exactly right. But the more I look at this stuff, it's like the folks that have been running the show for the last few years, it's like, what are you doing? What are you absolutely doing? Whether you're talking the Middle East or you're talking deterring Russia effectively, or you got to be looking at China right now, just wondering what's next in that regard. I think a lot of smart people's ideas, China doesn't invade Taiwan, they blockade Taiwan. And they call her bluff.
What does that, what purpose does that serve?
It would essentially choke Taiwan.
Yeah, but how does that hurt us? And I know about the chip manufacturing plant.
The semiconductor.
But we got the place being built in Ohio.
It still doesn't make up for how big the Taiwanese manufacturing.
And you got to have it tomorrow.
Well,
and you can send some to South Korea. They've ramped it up a good bit, but Taiwan, and this is maybe why China doesn't do that, because I think China is also
I think they're as dependent on it as we are.
Right.
That's kind of mad.
Well, I think if you're the Chinese, the ideal way to do it is you win politically. You win an election in Taiwan, and they join China.
They move in,
without firing a shot.
Yep.
But in the meantime, the reason Taiwan's such a big deal is the U.S. projects power in the Pacific through holding that first island chain. And especially, people would like to bring up Mackinder and the world island theory. It's a little outdated. But the general idea is if you could tie China and Russia and the Middle East together, you essentially have this massive island that's self-sufficient. And the only way to control that and to prevent that from being fully operational is the British did that with their empire. We could do it with our Navy, is you control it from the naval aspect, from the periphery. And so to break through the periphery, Taiwan is this unsinkable aircraft carrier. You take that it's very easy to hop from Taiwan to other islands in the first chain. And then it makes it even easier to project missile power even further. And so as much as I am prone to being more like we don't need war, a bunch of people dying, I think the hard geopolitical reality I'm pretty convinced of is we do not want China to be a regional hemispheric power like we are right now, because you see how it allows us to project power?
Yeah, but they are. We don't want them.
They're not quite where we are.
I didn't say they're not where we are. I said they're not they are a regional power.
They're a regional power, but they're not a hegemon yet, because of, in particular, the U.S. alliance, mostly based on the naval power, and there's all sorts of bad things that could happen out of it. It's not even like the U.S. and China start the war with each other. No. There's a lot of, let's say, bad blood between the Japanese and the Koreans and the Chinese, and pretty awful stuff happened there.
Japanese,
Russian. That hasn't exactly gone away. So I understand this idea of it would be essentially what Kennan came up with the Soviet Union. You need to contain China. You don't need to fight them. We need to contain them. And there are ways to do that.
So bringing them into the capitalistic market, was that a good way to do?
No, we made a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes.
I think we thought Chinese would be much like Americans. Very greedy.
Well, and then American companies, American researchers, going back to COVID in the labs, like especially it's been going on for decades, but it's superpowered during the 90s. If we can't do it here, just offshore to China.
That's right.
Then, wait, we can get like all these teaching assistants, research assistants for free if we just let these rich Chinese come in and go to our schools. Cool. And like, so whether it's manufacturing or it's ideas and research, it's just offshore to China. And it'll accrue to us because we'll get the research and we'll get the stuff. And I think we were naive. It was the whole idea of like when you sold blue jeans and Coca-Cola to Russians, we could do the same thing to the Chinese. And I think at the end of the day, the Chinese Communist Party is still communist.
Yep.
If you could call it, it's not Stalinism. It's not what Mao set up, but it still has this state capitalist aspect with immense political, ideological control over that apparatus. That said, China understands that billions of people don't like what's happening. Right. Billions of people could do something about it.
Right. And a lot of their own people don't like what's going on.
And they're a basket case economically in many ways because of how much,
they're damn ghost cities, man.
Yeah. It becomes this whole thing. It's who knows what happens. I think the election matters very much, like Jeff said, who's going to be actually the leader on top. But I think beyond who gets elected, who the heck knows what's coming in the next decade? It all gets wound up with the technological race, the space race, and then it's a crazy time to be alive.
Have you given any consideration on how we might take the eye out of BRIC?
Take the what?
India.
Oh, take the eye out of BRICS. That's a tougher nut to crack, honestly.
But I mean,
friendship of convenience.
That seems to be the nation that we had the best relationship with.
Yes.
So I don't understand,
but they like their independence too. Yeah. So, for instance, sanctions on Russia, they didn't fully cooperate.
I say we give them their independence then, and don't give them another damn penny.
Yeah. Well, again, it's complicated and above all of our pay grades. But you would hope that the people who are actually paid to do this stuff, like, where are the good outcomes?
I'm not talking to you, deep state.
And my favorite excuse is, well, we didn't fully screw it up yet. We're still alive,
we're
right?
still
I'm like,
on it.
well, at least you got that. Good for you.
Still working on it.
We were close, man.
I admit, it could be really bad. It goes back to your comment about
Military
Kennedy and Khrushchev talking to one another.
It does. It really does go back that far, man.
Well, here we got to hit a break. First, this part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And they're at the Goodson Group. Bo and his team are ready to help you with buying or selling here in the Montgomery or surrounding areas. Bo has been working in the River Region real estate market for nearly half a century now. And so whether you're looking to buy, sell, or manage that property, and that's a great aspect of the Goodson Group. Say you got a rental or you want to convert a property to a rental, but you don't know the first thing about managing a rental. Why not have the Goodson Group for a reasonable fee do it for you? And the crown jewel there is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School. It's one of the most highly acclaimed and accredited real estate programs here in the state because, well, it's a very interactive course. Bo's teaching you direct from his experience. But the proof is all the folks that have graduated from Bo's Real Estate School and gone on to great success, whether it's fully licensed realtors or more knowledgeable private players. So check them out today. You can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group, great sponsor of News and Views in the afternoon.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River Region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
No one wants to wait on service for an overhead door. With 20 years in the industry, you now have access to the best with All Access Overhead Door. All Access Overhead Doors offers prompt professional service at affordable prices on all service and new garage doors for residential and commercial locations. All Access Overhead Door serves the river region and can take care of whatever you need when it comes to your overhead door. Remember, you have access to the best. All Access Overhead Door. Call and schedule an appointment today. 320-2440. And like them on Facebook. They sell the best and service the rest.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hello, this is Pam with All About the Bounce. We have been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for a little over a month now and have seen great results. Thank you, Blue Water, for helping us to bring the bounce to more customers across the river region. Radio advertisement is definitely the best advertisement.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
Hi, everybody. With all the drama caused by Hurricane Milton in Florida, our weather continues to be nearly perfect with mostly clear skies tonight. Jacket weather. Overnight low temperature falls to the mid-50s. More sunshine. Nearly perfect Friday, Saturday, Sunday with highs in the lower 80s Friday and Saturday, mid-80s on Sunday. And next week, another cold front. Some nights will be in the 40s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. Get 0% financing up to 48 months with approved credit. Now on select Kubota track loaders and excavators. Get a Kubota now through December 31st, 2024. See Capital Tractor Montgomery and Brundage or KubotaUSA.com for details.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to the program. Like I said, my music's running out. We'll watch the joke in a second.
Well, you don't have the extended version?
No, I don't.
Wow, you don't have an album clip?
I mean, I've got the larger one. I'm loaded.
Okay, just want to make sure there was one available.
I do have a new song out.
I know. Had people call and ask me about
Where's the Liberty, Joey Clark. That's what you search. Where's
Good
the
song.
Liberty, Joey Clark.
Had people ask me if that's really your voice.
That is.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Layered.
No, but you do very well.
It's all right.
I like it.
It's all right.
I have a hard time dancing to it.
Yeah, it's not meant to dance.
Yeah.
You start a revolution to it, though, by God.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. That's Where's the Liberty, Joey Clark. So let's go to Peter St. Onge. We
All right.
got on that geopolitics tangent, which I enjoyed. But let's get to Peter. This is zero income growth through the Biden administration. So all the stuff we are suggesting, you can do the deep dive if you go to Peter St. Onge's Twitter and read the studies he's come up with. But here's sort of the bottom line take on, 4 years of falling wages.
And Reagan advisor David Stockman has the receipts.
In recent videos, I've talked about how the blockbuster economic statistics we are spoon-fed are manipulated into irrelevance. GDP numbers that count ammo to Ukraine or hundreds of billions in migrant welfare as if it were making us rich. Job numbers that intentionally skip millions of Americans who've given up on the labor force while importing millions of migrants to replace them. Retail numbers that fail to account for inflation. And, of course, the human cost. Seniors going back to work or giving up on ever retiring. Record young people who are jobless, living at home, who have given up on building a future, who have checked out. In a recent article, Reaganomics champion David Stockman put some numbers on the carnage. He kicks off noting that Washington's carnival of spend, borrow, and print has delivered nothing but stagnation, crippling debt, and endless financial bubbles that tickle Wall Street's marbles while leaving flyover country to rust. One of Stockman's more sobering statistics is that between 1947 and 2001, paychecks after inflation rose by 1.8% per year. That's good enough to double your pay every generation. Then starting in 2001, it dropped to 0.7%, so almost by 2/3, and continued like that through 2020. Now, I mentioned in previous videos how 2000 was an inflection, how we half killed the golden goose with red tape, taxes, spending, and money printing. The kicker is, since 2020, that anemic growth actually turned negative.
Damn.
As in, we didn't half kill the golden goose. Biden full killed it.
Yep.
So forget the alleged blockbuster 3% GDP growth of Bidenomics. Forget the crazy low unemployment numbers. Boots on the ground. We are going down.
Before Peter keeps going here, yeah, it is from David Stockman, I learned. And Stockman writes these screeds. Like his book, The Great Deformation, is fascinating. His take on the 2008 bailouts and crash. He doesn't think the bailouts are necessary, yada, yada. It's a long, involved argument. And Stockman is very idiosyncratic, very much a character. There's a whole story about that guy. That said, Stockman's one of the guys who really taught me that the long-term trend has been, and you just heard Peter St. Onge laid out with the numbers, we're issuing more and more debt for less and less growth. Mm-hmm. To now we're at the point of we're issuing more and more debt for negative growth. Yeah, that's bad.
Backwards.
Let's keep listening to Peter St. Onge.
To question, what's it going to look like when we actually do hit the meat of the recession? Now, next, Stockman breaks down the alleged 16 million jobs created by Biden. The media keeps repeating this. He correctly notes that most were so-called bounce-back jobs that had been outlawed during the pandemic, and then once Biden was safely in office, blue states miraculously discovered that COVID was over. Of what's left, Stockman estimates that just 11% were in the goods-producing sector. A good chunk which are fake, and government-funded green energy companies that will probably go bust soon. See Obama's Solyndra for a case study. But scrape the barrel with what's left, and we're looking at nearly half of jobs either in low-skill areas like home care or hamburger joints, or government jobs that don't create anything, they are parasites. Toss in the wholesale job transfer from native-born to illegals, and the Biden-Harris economy has actually cost jobs, with anybody who's still got a job getting a pay cut. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. For 400 years, all the way back to the 1600s, wages in this country have grown, interrupted only by major wars and major recessions. So that leaves two possibilities. Either we are in a major recession, which the mainstreamers will laugh off, given GDP is allegedly growing at 3%, or worse, we really are in 3% growth, and not one dime is making it to workers. That would be a break with 400 years of American history, indeed of Western history, and would suggest the bastards have finally, after decades of hard work, broken the American economy. Happily, we can get it back. We know how they broke it, so we know how to fix it, but it will take a major change of management to get it done. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
Freaking love that guy.
I got something I want you to roll around. If you took content creators out of the new jobs, how many,
good point.
What do you think actually you could drop on the ground and it go clank?
Man. Yeah, I don't know. That's a heck of a question. That's a good one.
Funny you mentioned the content creators because I've been on Facebook a while with our real estate and all, but that's what they label me. And in the past 6 months, I've noticed that we're all content creators instead of just a schmo on the Facebook.
Yeah, I think that's helping pad some of the numbers.
That's a good point. I hadn't even thought about that.
And think about all your different types of content creators.
Because I'm a content
creator. Yeah, you're
creator.
a content creator.
You're not the kind that I'm talking about, buddy.
Oh, what do you mean?
You know what I mean.
Like OnlyFans?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Hear there's good money in that though.
A lot of people would bridge.
Well, actually, it's kind of like everything else, like the Pareto distribution. It's even worse. But there are like a few % of people on that site that are making bank, and then most folks are just showing their butt online and more for not making much money.
enough to bridge the gap financially. Is my point.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I think OnlyFans is probably a band-aid for a lot of single moms.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Not just single moms, but yeah, it is. And not only that, though, if they would ever publicize the OnlyFans, because, you can be on OnlyFans in Alabama, but not play in these 3 states. You can pick where you want to go. My guess is if that truth ever dropped, there would be a lot more people than we ever thought on OnlyFans.
I think it should be something, to stop sex trafficking or help clamp down on that. Like, I think you should have to register to be a content creator on one of those type platforms.
Right. Though it's added the good effect of breaking up the old companies and the good old boys club in that world.
Right, but the trouble still remains that young people could be exploited through that.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt.
So people have to put their name on their account, or at least some sort of identification.
No, and that's a whole rabbit hole you can go down. I'm not saying looking up at naked people doing the dirty deed. It's more there are podcasts where people have been in that world or making money and they talk about it.
They do openly talk about
and the changes. You think that it's all these technological changes have affected every industry, including that one, which is essentially the oldest profession. Man.
But a lot of people get on it for a little while and they get back off it.
Well, and then some folks are like the chick who was just on Kill Tony said she has an OnlyFans, but she only does like clothed pole
and
dancing.
there are a lot of people, and I don't know, but there are a lot of people that claim that that's the only thing they do. Like if Byron was on there, I'd say, Byron, I want you to build a house, and I'm going to, that's my request. You do that.
Yeah, but I'd probably be doing that on YouTube.
Yeah, but I could specifically pay you $100 for this hour for you to build this house. Whereas on YouTube, maybe not so much.
But I think you're right. There are a lot of folks. Oh, look, Ted Cruz just texted me.
Now, what'd Ted say?
He writes to donate $1.
Yeah. Man, he owes me $20.
See, these texts make me not believe in democracy.
He needs to be asking Joey, will you come over here and knock some doors for me? Because this one's getting a little thin.
Joey, what
Oh, no, here's another one. Friend request from Donald Trump.
You're not friends with Donald Trump?
You are one of the few patriots from your area to get this. Congrats.
I got mine like a month ago. You're not friends with Donald Trump?
No.
Joey.
Oh, what? Like you subscribe?
He sends me stuff every day.
It's just like, who's getting these?
How many people go, Donald Trump
Ted Cruz texting me?
I got a text from Navient. My student loan provider.
They checking in on you? How you doing? Everything good?
Oh, well, when I hear comedians like Tim Dillon say America is a rotting empire from the inside, it's kind of moments like that.
Yeah.
This conversation we just had, and you put that period of a student loan text, man, welcome to America 2024. Good God, folks.
It's still kind of Obama's America, just kind of carried on.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is Robert.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, you talked to a guy earlier, and y'all was trying to compare the war with Ukraine against the colonial war. Did that guy understand that there were muskets fighting against cannonballs? There was not fighter jets. There was not long-range missiles. There was an enemy that had to travel far on sea to come fight you. Then once he got on land, he had to get his land legs back to even fight you. It was just an awkward war. The war today is way complex. Then, like you said earlier, if you beef up NATO, won't nobody come up against NATO. Go ahead and give all the NATO states now all the weaponry they may need for a future war.
Right.
They can provide their own weapons, man. I mean, that's one of the things that Trump was talking about. I mean,
but if they're a member, if they're a brotherhood of your association, they're like your church association. You don't only take care of your church, you take care of the church that's within your umbrella. If we're gonna be an umbrella nation, we need to make every one of them as strong as the other one. So won't nobody even challenge us.
Right.
You know that ain't gonna happen, man. It can't.
You give it to them later. Why not give it to them before somebody come up against them?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think the problem with Ukraine is we were bluffing, saying, "Oh, well, we'll bring them into NATO, and we'll eventually do it." And that, for what, 2 decades, was a Russian red line, and they finally pulled the trigger on it. To a lot of people's surprise.
Well, it didn't surprise me because I'm going to tell you, you tell my neighbor that me and my neighbor is not getting along real well, and you tell him that you're going to support him in the future, I'm going to act now. I'm going to move before you give it to him.
Right. Well, and there also is something, Rich, about, sovereign integrity, the sovereignty of nations. We must keep the integrity of borders coming from the U.S. government.
Huh?
And then that word sovereignty. Whoever give you sovereignty have an invested interest in you.
Whoever gives it to you can take it away, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. They have an invested interest. So no nation's sovereign.
Yeah, and I understand, certainly, like, there are certain nations in NATO that aren't going to contribute a lot to the budget because they're like Iceland. But Iceland's a pretty crucial spot on the map that you probably want as part of your alliance. I can imagine the Baltic states going, we don't want to go back to Russia. I can imagine Poland, we don't want to go back. We want to be Poland. So they join these things. I think, is
all I'm saying is
reasonable.
I think that France and some of the other countries who would be the next
Germany
domino to fall, they need to pony up a little bit
you would
more.
think they'd be the first one in front because, like you said, they're the next one.
But they
to fall.
don't have to because we're the umbrella country.
They should pay their fair share. But what I'm saying is, let's go get all the crop dusters out of the hangars and let's give them fighter jets now.
Yeah.
I'm still saying they can pay for their own fighter jets.
I appreciate the call.
We can make sure they have the technology, but they got to pay for it.
Well, they can buy them from us, right?
Yes.
There we go.
There we go.
This part of the program,
Win-win.
again, brought to you by Dillon Rings. And they're at Dillon Rings. They are ready to help you out as a full-service jewelry shop. Could be you're looking for a repair. That necklace broke.
Right.
That bracelet broke. I can repair that quick. Because, they're so good. Josh can repair watches. And if you've ever gone down the YouTube rabbit hole of watch repair?
It's amazing.
It's actually very soothing to watch. But I couldn't do that work. But it's so delicate. And the fact that Josh Ryder can do that sort of stuff just suggests how skilled he is indeed. And of course, he can do custom design work. So if you can dream it, that guy can make it a reality. Maybe you inherited a few pieces of jewelry and you actually want to combine them. He can do that. Could be you want to get funky fresh medallions for a night out in town with the friends. He can do that. Maybe it's something very poignant, or you want a custom-made engagement ring, Come on,
he can do that.
He can do all of that. They can also do spa treatments, make that jewelry shine and shimmer like it once did. And, of course, they have an amazing selection there at Dillon Rings, from high-end items to that everyday jewelry that still looks great but doesn't break the bank. And, of course, remember, save the date.
That's right.
Dillon Rings' annual Ladies' Night event. Diamonds and Pearls. Diamonds and Pearls is what they're calling it.
Nice.
Is coming out November 7th.
Okay.
This is November 7th, Ladies' Night, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. There'll be a limited number of gift bags, catered treats, and refreshments. Extra discounts and inventory only during that event. And with Christmas only 76 days away.
And counting.
That event will be perfect time to start filling out your wish list or filling up your stockings.
Yep.
So again, check out Dillon Rings today. You can always stop by 119 Brown Springs Road right here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway, kind of the AUM Taylor Road area. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Get ready for the most exciting event of the year. The Alabama National Fair is back October 4th through the 14th, bringing you endless fun, thrilling rides, and mouth-watering fair food. But hold on, because there's more. Girl, no. Tonight is college night. Wear your favorite school gear. Get in for only $10 for the sensational Dylan Scott, presented by Haynes Ambulance. That's right, Dylan Scott Live, absolutely free with your fair admission. Experience all the hits that made Dylan Scott a star. Tonight, 7 o'clock on the Coliseum stage. Grab your tickets now and make it a night to remember with Dylan Scott at the Alabama National Fair tonight at 7 p.m. Free with your fair admission. Sponsored by Haynes Ambulance. For details and tickets, visit alnationalfair.org. We'll see you October 4th through the 14th.
last 11 days of fall.
Sponsored by the Kiwanis Club of Montgomery, Coca-Cola, and Hyundai Motor Manufacturing, Alabama.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Hey guys, this is Todd Clark with River Region Contracting, your premier roofing contractor in Central Alabama. So remember the name, River Region Contracting, for all your roofing needs. We're not affiliated with any other roofing company in the River Region. We've been in the roofing business since 2005. We don't have to buy our leads, and we don't have to knock on doors when the storms come around. We have thousands of satisfied customers throughout Central Alabama. So call us at 334-356-8635. That's 334-356-8635.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final moments here of the program. Did we learn anything today, gentlemen?
I was just wondering that myself, and
I think we learned some good things. I think we learned about the trends in the polls for the presidential election.
Yeah.
I think we learned about, well, how the CPI is kind of bunk and no job and no income growth, falling income, in fact, over the last 4 years. So more and more debt for negative growth.
For negative growth.
Shady campaign vehicles.
Man, that's kind of depressing.
See, and we're even so conditioned with our language, we say negative growth. Actually, wouldn't that be like you're atrophying?
You're dying a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, you're rotting away.
You're not as healthy as you think you are.
Man, you deteriorated.
Really let yourself go there, USA.
Yep.
So, but we can turn it around. We've
we got to
learned that 3 million in Florida without power, 3 million plus.
How many people do you think are still there?
A lot of people went up to the Panhandle, or
I just wonder how many people, and I hope we get a number. How many people evacuated? I really would like to know how many people.
Any update on the people who rode it out at the zoo? I saw that. I was like,
no. Besides, there's two girls, or not two girls. There's two people on social media. One of them was Lieutenant Dan. Another one was a girl. She was like on the ground floor of an apartment. She's like, "Oh, this looks pretty bad."
Well, and so far we didn't even mention this today, but I learned this today. Dark MAGA hats are the number one seller for the Trump campaign.
I meant to ask you about that yesterday. If it was a real deal, because I saw them on Twitter yesterday.
I'm kind of tempted. I've never thought about, I'd never wanted the MAGA hat, but the dark MAGA hat, I kind of like it.
We've had the discussion about how screw the polling.
Yeah.
Trump trapped the sales of the MAGA hats, and whenever the sales in some of the districts that wasn't supposed to be competitive in, that's when he knew he had a chance. I'd love to see where sales are spiking right now. If we know Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, that'd be fun.
I will buy a dark MAGA hat if they stop sending me all these texts.
Just be his friend.
Something tells me
it's a great friend, and give me money.
On Wednesday after the election, you're not going to be as close a friend.
Are you telling me that
you are.
After the election, Donald Trump's not going to be my friend on Facebook?
No, he's still going to be your friend. Okay. He's just not going to communicate.
And you do know that OnlyFans content creator really likes you, Eddie.
I know. Every day we're talking back and forth.
Not just your money.
Borrowing a little money from me, but that's okay. She's going to pay me back.
Yeah, she LOLs and all sorts of things, I say. Hey, before we get out of here, this part of the program, great sponsor. We normally talk to Ray Bowles from
Yes.
Prattville Carpet. He's busy.
He
which
is actually
always
busy
a great
working.
thing to
Big
hear.
commercial job. So.
But they still have those amazing discounts, up to 50% off on carpet and the luxury vinyl planks that they still have in stock. And they're doing a big old drawing there.
That's right, for the countertop, man.
Yeah, but you got to sign up for that by actually going to Prattville
Right.
Carpet at 2201 Cobbs Ford Road right there in Prattville. And, of course, you can always call them to come in, do a free in-home measurement, any sort of resurface job from the floors to resurfacing the bathroom or the kitchen. They're really great folks there at Prattville
They really
Carpet with amazing product. Again, up to 50% off. Ray does this a few times a year, especially around this time of year, and sometimes I think he's crazy, but, I think he's crazy like a fox.
Yeah. Well, he's a great local business, Joey.
Really is. So call him up today at 285-8117. That's 285-8117. And be sure to tell him you heard about him here on News and Views in the afternoon. Thank you both. Thought it was a good show today.
It's good, man.
Thanks for being here.
And y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg Budell. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Florida residents and officials assessing the damage after Hurricane Milton brought strong winds